Chapter 1668. Lin Xian had told Mu Qingya what he should say, and he definitely didn't say anything that he shouldn't say. He also didn't say anything that was too mysterious. Mu Qingya expressed her understanding, and Lin Xian was relieved. What was left was actually guilt, because he really didn't know when he could come back. But he swore that he would definitely come back. What's the world you went to like? Mu Qingya asked. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. It feels exactly the same as Earth. There's the internet, mobile phones and technology. The technology is even more powerful. There are humans and demons. The humans have powerful barriers to defend. And the demons will attack the humans and occupy the cities. It's a bit like Earth many years later. But I believe that Earth won't be in such a situation many years later. That's not necessarily true. No, it's definitely true. Because I'll definitely protect it well. Okay. Mu Qingya then asked. Then how are you going to go back? Can't I go back with you when you go back? Of course not. If you can't, you won't have so much trouble. Oh. Mu Qingya didn't ask any more questions. Okay. About this. I know. I won't tell anyone. Mu Qingya said. Well then let's go to sleep. Lin Xian then directly pounced on her. You. Before she could react, she was pressed under Lin Xian's body. Of course, they all knew what happened. On the other side, Duan Lingxiao came to a place. There was still half a month left. Xianyuan Qingtian hadn't appeared since that night. He couldn't even contact him. The whole Xianyuan family was in chaos, especially Xianyuan Long. His son disappeared under his nose. He was really going crazy. Then he checked, but it seemed that he couldn't find anything. He only found that his son was very close to a woman that night, and then he drank with that woman in the yard. As for what happened after drinking, no one knew. He didn't know either. There was no such thing as surveillance in the Shaolin Temple. He checked all the surveillance cameras in the more prosperous places around, but there was no trace. The only clue was that woman, but he couldn't find her at all. He couldn't find anything at all. He had reason to think that he was in disguise. Duan Lingxiao knew that it was definitely done by Lin Xian, because Xianyuan Qingtian wanted to kill Lin Xian. He didn't believe that Lin Xian didn't know, but what evidence did he have? The only thing he could do was secretly tell the Xianyuan clan that it was Lin Xian who did it. He didn't even dare to say it himself. Secretly telling them to focus their attention on Lin Xian was a good thing. The Xianyuan family had indeed placed their attention on Lin Xian. They had originally suspected that it was Lin Xian, because there was a grudge between them. Now that Lin Xian had returned, it was possible, but how could they investigate? If he couldn't find anything, could it be that he had to ask directly? Or rather, the only thing they could think of was to take action. However, this was a rather important matter because they knew that Lin Xian was no ordinary warrior. He was so young, but he was deeply loved and even protected by his seniors. If they forcefully tried to do something without any evidence, the Xianyuan family would become the target of public criticism if they were discovered, especially at this stage of the game. In particular, this Lin Xian was very close to the Lu family. The current head of the Lu family was a member of the Lu family, and Dongfang Shui had returned, and this Lin Xian and Dongfang Shui were. It seemed that both the Lu family and the Dongfang family liked him very much. If they forced him to do something, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, all of this was based on the premise that they were exposed, so he felt that he had to do this. There was no way they could talk nicely with him. If he was the one who did it, he wouldn't admit it. Even if he wasn't the one who did it, the Xianyuan family wouldn't believe him just because he said it wasn't him. Thus, the best way was to capture him and force him to tell the truth under the threat of death. The Xianyuan family had begun to move. But where was Duan Lingxiao? Duan Lingxiao arrived at a secluded place. I'm here. Duan Lingxiao yelled. Whoosh, a figure appeared in front of him. What? Have you made up your mind? Duan Lingxiao nodded. I can provide you with everything you want, including what you want me to do, but at the same time, you have to agree to a request of mine. It's a win-win situation, so why not? What is it? Feel free to tell us. Duan Lingxiao nodded. I want you to kill someone for me. That's easy. Who is it? It's a spatial attribute cultivator at the domain realm. Under normal circumstances, even ninth-tier heavenly venerates may not be able to kill him. You have to send a few great void stage cultivators to kill him. In other words, you have to give me your soldiers and I'll personally supervise this matter. You need great void stage cultivators to kill a spatial attribute cultivator at the domain realm? Duan Lingxiao nodded. Of course. Otherwise, why would I need you guys? No problem. Also, I need you to complete this task within 3 days. Duan Lingxiao said. Although he still had half a month, there was only half a month left. He couldn't hold on any longer. He really couldn't hold on any longer. He had to hurry. Boy. The old man narrowed his eyes and said, It's true that we're cooperating, but you don't have the capital to bargain with us. Do you understand? I'm not trying to bargain with you. Then we won't let you finish your task before we ask you to do it. Duan Lingxiao said. Aren't you worried that I won't do my best if you make me unhappy? Ha ha ha, there are so many people in this world who can do things for us. We don't need you. Is that so? Indeed, that seems to be the case. However, in this world, what I can do, others may not be able to do. Isn't that why you want to cooperate with me? Duan Lingxiao said. Ha ha ha, it's easy to deal with smart people. Sure. All right, you just need to give me soldiers according to my request. Whether it's a success or not, I'll definitely do as you say in 3 days and help you complete it. The old man nodded. No problem. What did he like about Duan Lingxiao? It wasn't his talent or his strength, but his position. His results in the martial arts assembly meant that he would definitely be snatched up by the other major forces. He was referring to the current strength of the Kunlun Mountain. If such a person joined the Kunlun Mountain, he could cooperate with them from the inside and easily control a modern top force. They could use such a force to accomplish many things. It was very important. Chapter 1669. The thoughts of these experts were really pure, but they were very effective. Duan Lingxiao was preparing to deal with Lin Xian. There was still half a month left, and this matter was related to his life. Lin Xian also knew that he would leave in half a month. What could he do in the remaining half a month? Just spend more time with them, and it seemed that there was nothing else he could do. A day passed like this. It was night again. It seemed that there was nothing to do. Lin Xian ate hot pot and chatted with them every day. I saw the news today. Did you know? Someone found a dragon. Mu Feifei said excitedly. Are you serious? There really is a dragon? Is it photoshopped? Qin Yijuan didn't believe it. It's true. It seems that someone suddenly found something unusual at the bottom of a well. After the water was drained, they found that there was a hidden world at the bottom of the well. It was said that there was a dragon locked inside. Liar, where are the photos? What about the videos? Well, I don't think so, but the news said that it attracted a lot of attention. Many warriors went to check it out. That should be true, right? Lin Xian said. Who knows, but it's possible that it's true. Wow. Will all those things in the legends appear? Lin Xian nodded. Well, it's just a matter of time. I'm looking forward to it. What are you looking forward to? If those existences appear, then something big will happen. It means that the Earth has entered a new era. Lin Xian said. I'm also looking forward to it. Lin Xian touched his forehead and said, That's why you're a brat. Nonsense. Mu Feifei said unhappily. Think about it. If that situation really comes to pass, it means that Earth has entered a new era. In this era, how many families will be destroyed? How chaotic will the entire Earth be? You're just used to this seemingly ordinary world. That's because you're used to it, so you begin to look forward to a new worldview. But after a period of time after this worldview appears, you'll understand. Oh. Mu Feifei pursed her lips. This is actually very normal. Take me for example. In the past, when I watched Resident Evil, I always imagined that one day our world would become like the world in Resident Evil. Every one of us would be running around for survival. It felt very exciting. But if such a day really came, I wouldn't be able to accept it. Qin Yijuan said. Let's eat. Why are you talking about this? Su Delin was the one who spoke the least. She realized that she had fallen in love with the food in this world. It was 2F** King delicious. Someone's coming, Su Dalin suddenly said. Ah, do you have any guests? Mu Feifei asked doubtfully. Lin Xian knew what Su Dalin meant. That person was definitely not a guest. That person was definitely a martial artist, and probably not a weak one at that. Let's go. You're coming with me, Lin Xian said to Su Dalin. Su Dalin shrugged and stood up. Don't come out. After saying that, the two of them walked out. Is it a martial artist? Mu Feifei blinked her big eyes. It must be. Mu Qingya nodded. Needless to say, Lin Xian was really glad that he had met Su Dalin. Moreover, she was the heavenly Tao. Otherwise, many things would not have been so simple. At this moment, several top powerhouses of the Long family came not far from them. How do we do it? The more secretive, the better. Have all the surveillance cameras in this community been blocked? They have been blocked. Good. That Lin Xian is either in this villa or the one next door. Make sure. It has just been confirmed. There are 5 people in the villa next door. It looks like it should be them. I want to be sure. Then one of the powerhouses released his divine sense again and suddenly frowned. Strange. What's wrong? There were 5 people in the villa just now. Why did it suddenly become 3? He showed a puzzled expression. Did they run away? There are no more 2 people in the villa next door. What's going on? At this moment, a voice came from behind them. Because I'm behind you. Those powerhouses' pupils suddenly shrank. Then they quickly turned around. Behind them, a man with a cigarette in his mouth and another woman standing next to him, looking at them just like that. Those powerhouses were shocked. Because they were in the heavenly venerable realm. They appeared behind them silently without them noticing. Could it be that this person was in the higher virtual realm? I'm really curious about which family you are from. Whoosh! After saying that, they disappeared from where they were and arrived at a spacious and empty place. Be careful. Surround them. Whoosh! Then they surrounded Lin Xian. Kill them all. Leave one alive, Lin Xian said to Su Dalin. What? Hearing Lin Xian's casual words, those powerhouses frowned and showed a puzzled expression. Kill them all. What kind of realm were they in? How easy would it be to kill them? Okay. The corners of Su Dalin's mouth curled up slightly. Then, the power of the heavenly Tao was released. The heavenly Tao? Although they had never seen the heavenly Tao, this power was definitely not something that a higher virtual realm cultivator could possess, right? This. Puff. With just Su Dalin's power, the others were all dead, leaving only one alive. Hey. Lin Xian walked over while smoking. Tell me, who are you? The youngest powerhouse was really scared out of his wits. Su Dalin had purposely left the youngest one behind, because those old men might be even more stubborn and wouldn't say anything. If I tell you, can you spare my life? Of course. Lin Xian nodded. Xianyuan. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. Oh, Xianyuan? Why does the Xianyuan family want to deal with me? Lin Xian thought that since Xianyuan Qingtian was dead, there should be no one in the Xianyuan family to deal with him. Young Master Xianyuan disappeared, and you have a grudge with him. The Xianyuan family thinks that it's very likely that you did it. Oh, Lin Xian twisted his neck. Kill him? Didn't you say you wouldn't kill me? A man never goes back on his word, the powerhouse said in horror. But I've never been a man of honor. Then the powerhouse was killed by Su Dalin. Lin Xian sighed. After I leave, I hope that you can stay by their side and protect them at all times. After this incident, there was no telling what the Xianyuan family would do. Lin Xian was very worried about them. Okay. Su Dalin nodded. Chapter 1670. Once the matter with the Xianyuan family was settled, the Xianyuan family would know that they had disappeared. That would make them even more suspicious of Lin Xian. Lin Xian and the Xianyuan family would probably try something again, but it wouldn't happen in the near future. As for the rest, Lin Xian couldn't do anything because he was about to leave. He asked the other girls about their missions, and found that they had all completed it. Now he was waiting for the time to come before he went back. Lin Xian tossed and turned on the bed. What's wrong? Mu Qingyao looked at Lin Xian in confusion. Nothing. Lin Xian shook his head. Are you upset? Lin Xian nodded. I guess so. There are a lot of things that I don't know what will happen in the future. I just don't feel at ease. Lin Xian was used to being in charge of everything. Only then would he feel at ease. Therefore, with the current state of Earth and the fact that he was about to leave, he felt very melancholic. Don't worry too much. We're not vases that will break at the slightest touch. Mu Qingyao said softly. Damn, what are you talking about? I'm not worried about anything else. It's easy to dodge a spear in the open, but it's hard to guard against a stab in the dark. I'm worried about some conspiracy. Although I'm not as smart as you, I'm not a fool. Mu Qingyao said. Lin Xian looked at her. Okay. Sleep. Okay. On the other side, Duan Lingxiao was ready. A total of 8 people were prepared for him. 4 of them were in the Great Void Stage. The highest realm was the Great Void Stage 5-star. Originally, they only planned to give him a space attribute Heavenly Venerable. However, Duan Lingxiao knew that the space attribute Heavenly Venerable sent by the Xianyuan family didn't kill Lin Xian. Therefore, they couldn't send a Heavenly Venerable this time. Therefore, they finally sent him a Great Void Stage warrior. This was really his strongest move, and it was also his only way. If he failed this time, he would really be gone. Everyone, I'll go with you this time, Duan Lingxiao said. No need. A Great Void Stage warrior said. This young master must go personally. Otherwise you won't succeed. He never expected Lin Xian to have a Heavenly Dao Realm expert by his side. He felt that the Great Void Realm was the limit, right? Or rather, he had helped the system to do it. It's just killing a Grand Domain Realm brat with the spatial attribute, 4 Absolute Void Stage cultivators, and 4 Celestial Venerables. Let alone so many people, I alone am enough to kill him. All I have to do is release my aura slightly, and I'll be able to kill him, the old man said. If he was so easy to kill, would this young master have asked your leader to send a Great Void Stage expert to this young master? Let this young master give you a piece of advice. There were several Empyreans before, with the highest realm being the 9-star Empyrean realm. There were even some Empyrean space attribute martial artists that attacked together. None of them were heard from, but he is still alive and well. Although this young master doesn't know how he did it, this is the truth. If you don't take this seriously, then don't blame this young master when you die. When they heard Duan Lingxiao's words, they became cautious. You're saying that he has top-notch experts protecting him? The old man asked. I'm not sure, but it's possible. At the same time, he's very powerful. Although he's only at the Grand Domain Realm, he can easily defeat a Celestial Venerable. Since he can defeat a Celestial Venerable, does he have the ability to defeat a Great Void Stage expert or escape from a Great Void Stage expert? This young master isn't sure either. Now this young master only has one request. When you face him, treat him as an expert with a higher cultivation realm than you, Duan Lingxiao said. Lin Xian had become his greatest shadow and inner demon. Even if he felt that it was easy to kill Lin Xian, he really didn't think it was that simple. They didn't believe Duan Lingxiao's words. It's ridiculous. Facing a Grand Domain Realm expert, you actually treat him as someone with a higher cultivation level than us. Not to mention the Grand Domain Realm, even in our era, there weren't any geniuses of this level. I think you're possessed. If you don't want to die, you'd better listen to me. Duan Lingxiao looked ahead as he spoke. Your leader said that you have to listen to me for at least the next 2 days. Let's set off now. And then they arrived at Jiangnan City. Lin Xian stayed at home for another day. He planned to visit Dongfang Shui in the next few days to get to know her better. On the other hand, Duan Lingxiao had already arrived near Lin Xian's residence with his men. What should we do? What should we do? Just go in and kill them. What else do you want to do? Duan Lingxiao's eyes narrowed. I told you to listen to me. All right. Then tell me, what should we do? Duan Lingxiao looked at a figure in a small shop. This woman is called Qin Yijuan. She's one of Lin Xian's women. This Lin Xian is a good man, but he's too loyal to his friends. She's probably his woman as well. After all, her looks and figure are there for all to see. As for Mu Qingya and Mu Feifei in the villa, it's hard to do anything to them, at least tonight. Lin Xian is there, and he may have even arranged something in advance. We can't do anything in the villa, but it's the same if we catch her. Duan Lingxiao explained. Could it be that you want me, a few heavenly venerables and absolute void stage experts, to capture a little girl and use her to blackmail him? That's unnecessary. The powerful beings felt like they were playing house. There were 4 great void stage cultivators and 4 heavenly venerables. If they were dealing with a great void stage cultivator, even if it was 1 star of the great void stage, they could still be a little more cautious. However, they were dealing with a grand domain realm cultivator. How could they tolerate this? Even their pride couldn't tolerate it. A group of powerful beings actually had to use such a method to deal with a grand domain realm cultivator. Unnecessary? Have you forgotten what I told you before? 7 or 8 heavenly venerables died without any news. They didn't even spread the news before they died. There might be a great void stage cultivator among them. Do you think this is unnecessary? Duan Lingxiao really couldn't stand these people's carelessness. The main reason was that this matter was too important to him, but these people didn't care at all. This made him feel very uncomfortable. Only by being more serious would he feel that the chances of success were higher. With such subordinates, their master probably didn't have much ability either. He could understand. It was normal for a group of great void stage cultivators to not care about a grand domain realm cultivator. However, it was obvious that there might be a great void stage cultivator among them. Then let's do this. Although he was very unhappy with Duan Lingxiao, from his expression, it seemed that this matter was quite real. He indeed had to be careful. After all, a space attribute heavenly venerables had disappeared without a trace. It was quite scary. Chapter 1671. Duan Lingxiao took a deep breath. Whether he lived or died, it all depended on tonight. He was talking about himself. If he failed tonight, then he really didn't know what to do. Prepare to take action. Bring him to the abandoned building over there. This young master mentioned it when we passed by. Duan Lingxiao said. Yeah, no problem. They were really unhappy with Duan Lingxiao, but after thinking about it, if they didn't do it well because they underestimated Duan Lingxiao, their boss would be angry, and they would be blamed for it. Duan Lingxiao was certain that no one was at the heavenly Dao realm. This was because they had said that even if they were at the heavenly Dao realm in the past, they would still need some time to recover. Therefore, at the very least, there were no heavenly Dao realm existences for half a year. Therefore, it was impossible for Lin Xian to have a heavenly Dao realm existence around him. Furthermore, his system did not have such a thing. Take action. Duan Lingxiao saw Qin Yijuan leave the store and turn into an empty alley. He immediately gave the order to take action. Then, the great void realm warrior with spatial attributes did not hesitate to release his spatial powers, causing Qin Yijuan to vanish from her spot. It's a success. Duan Lingxiao nodded. Yeah, restrain her. This young master will use the earpiece to communicate with you at any time. Aren't you going to appear? An elder asked. This young master won't appear. The main reason was that he was really afraid of Lin Xian. If it was a normal gathering like the one at Shaolin Monastery, he would not be afraid. But now he wanted to kill Lin Xian. Although he felt that it was impossible for him to fail, his cautiousness told him that he could not appear. He really could not appear unless he was completely certain that Lin Xian was dead. But even so, he would not appear. He might even appear only after seeing Lin Xian die. He had read quite a number of novels, and felt that many characters in novels died because of carelessness and overconfidence. He could not do that. Duan Lingxiao also came to the abandoned building. On the rooftop of the 20th floor, Qin Yijuan was already tied up. Several experts were standing right next to her. This woman sure is beautiful. That's right, she's even prettier than the imperial concubine. Is this the woman of the brat we want to kill? He's really lucky. So what if I'm blessed? Don't you still have to die? What was Duan Lingxiao doing? He was in a place quite far away from here, but he had exchanged for the law of creation. He used the law of creation to create a few things that were similar to cameras here. allowing him to observe the situation here in real time. He did not dare to come over directly. Ask her for Lin Xian's contact information. Duan Lingxiao then contacted a great void stage expert. The expert walked to Qin Yijuan's side and tore off the tape on her mouth. If you want to live, then tell us how to contact Lin Xian. Don't play any tricks. Contact him yourself. The old man said. Zzz, she sniffed, feeling wronged. It's in my pocket. Then he took out his phone. Password 1314. The old man entered the password to unlock the device. The note is that idiot. The idiot is Lin Xian, she said. Don't try to play tricks. The old man bellowed. It was very strange. Wasn't it said that they were lovers? Logically speaking, in such a situation, one would rather die than tell their lover that something had happened to them, so as to prevent him from sending himself to his death. But why did this woman tell him? Oh, so their relationship wasn't that good, and their feelings weren't that deep. She couldn't accept his death. This was also very normal. Duan Lingxiao's voice then sounded in his ears. It's fine. This should be Lin Xian. According to his understanding, the closer their relationship was, the more special the notes would be. This proved that this person was Lin Xian. Then, the old man called Lin Xian and placed the phone beside Qin Yijuan. Hello. It was Lin Xian's voice. Zzz. Lin Xian, save me. I've been kidnapped by bad people. Save me. Lin Xian. Lin Xian was really taken aback. No. You're at the King Heavenly Dao realm. You've been kidnapped by bad people? That's right. This wasn't Qin Yijuan, but Su Dalin, the Heavenly Dao realm expert who was Qin Yijuan's twin, Su Dalin. Of course, Duan Lingxiao's investigation of Lin Xian only led to Qin Yijuan. He had no idea that they had a twin sister, much less that the sister was at the Heavenly Dao realm. He had met Su Dalin a few times, but those times Su Dalin had been in a disguised state. She had come out to buy snacks before she was kidnapped. Of course, it was impossible for them to kidnap Su Dalin. If not for Su Dalin's cooperation, would they have been able to kidnap her? Su Dalin had been bored to death during this period of time. When she encountered such a situation, she was overjoyed, especially when she discovered that there were 4 great void realm experts. According to Lin Xian, it was impossible to produce a great void realm expert in this era, much less 4. Therefore, they were also people who had awakened. This made Su Dalin even more interested. Since they had recognized her as her sister, there was going to be some fun. Where are you? At that moment, the elder placed his cell phone by his ear. As experts who had just awakened, there were certain things they had to understand. For example, they had to first understand the internet, cell phones, and computers. Your person is with me. Come. The elder followed Duan Lingxiao's instructions through his other ear and gave him an address. If you dare touch a hair on her head, I'll be irreconcilable with you, Lin Xian said angrily. Do, then the elder hung up. At that moment, Su Dalin said aggrievedly, he already said that he was coming. Can you let me go now? Of course not. You are still useful. The elder said coldly. What other use do I have? What other use do I have other than my face? Su Dalin said as she struggled. Shut up. Glue her mouth shut. Then Su Dalin was glued up. Needless to say, the feeling of being tied up was quite good. Soon Lin Xian arrived nearby. They're here. Everyone, get ready. Lin Xian stopped the car and walked down. He looked up at the rooftop. Lin Xian wasn't worried at all because Su Dalin was the one who was tied up. However, Lin Xian was sure that they had tied up the wrong person. In other words, these people's target was the woman beside him. This was something Lin Xian couldn't tolerate. This was Lin Xian's reverse scale. You can touch him, but you can't touch his woman. Otherwise, he would really be furious. Lin Xian wasn't that angry that they had tied up Su Dalin, but he had to get rid of them. Chapter 1672. Lin Xian lit a cigarette and looked up. Sigh. To be honest, he sympathized with these people. Of all the people they could kidnap, they had to kidnap Qin Yijuan, and then mistakenly kidnap Su Dalin. Lin Xian was really glad that he met Su Delin. Really, in a place with such a worldview, with the heavenly Tao by his side, everything would be easy. Lin Xian only had two suspects, the Xianyuan family and Duan Lingxiao. But he couldn't be sure which one it was. I say, as a powerhouse, you don't want to enjoy your days. Instead, you have to learn how to do these things. Aren't you tired? Lin Xian took a puff of his cigarette and shouted at the people above. Who are you to speak here? Do you see who this is? They tied Su Delin to the edge of the rooftop. Save me. Su Delin even cooperated and struggled for a while and shouted. Aha! Did you hear that? Did you hear your woman shouting for help? Do you want to save her? If you want to save her, then do as this old man says. This old man might even spare her life. The old man chuckled. Of course, this was Duan Lingxiao's idea. Duan Lingxiao had been observing the situation from afar. He couldn't miss this opportunity. He had to succeed. What do you want me to do? Lin Xian asked. Cut off your right arm and destroy your dantian and cultivation. The old man said. No. Lin Xian, don't listen to him. Don't save me. Leave. Su Delin shouted. Lin Xian was speechless. F***ck. This woman was addicted to acting. If my arm is cut off and my dantian destroyed, I won't be able to fight at all. Won't you be able to do whatever you want? I'm not that stupid. What if I do it and you don't let her go? Lin Xian shrugged. You're asking for death. Then you can watch her die. The old man placed a sword beside Su Delin's neck. Duan Lingxiao frowned from afar. Something's not right. This wasn't Lin Xian's style. Logically speaking, he would stupidly do as he was told. Could it be that this woman was not worth it? Of course, the old man wouldn't really kill Su Delin for the time being. His main target was Lin Xian. Then go ahead. Lin Xian said. Ha! At this moment everyone was stunned. Be careful of his schemes. Duan Lingxiao reminded. The old man also came back to his senses. What do we do now? The old man asked softly. Slit her neck. Duan Lingxiao said. Then the old man's eyes narrowed, and he said, all right. Since you're disobedient, then just watch. Following which, the old man's sword approached Su Delin's neck and exerted some force. But the scene that he had imagined did not happen. Ha! The old man was stunned. No, where's the blood? Although he did not use any force to sever the artery, there would still be blood. The reason was very simple. Su Delin had a heavenly Tao realm physique, while he was only at the 5th stage of the Great Void Realm. He did not even use any spirit energy, yet he wanted her to bleed? Dream on. This. Then the old man exerted some force. There was still no blood. No. Something was amiss. This time, he completely realized that something was amiss. Lin Xian curled the corners of his mouth. I say, can you use more force? Su Delin said faintly. What? Ah! At the next instant his neck was snapped by Su Delin. TSK too brutal. Lin Xian shook his head. What? The few old men behind were flabbergasted. Boring. Really boring. It's not interesting at all. Can't you have some more fun? Schwa. Following that, there were their tragic cries. In a short period of time, 8 people were instantly killed by Su Delin. Gulp. From afar, Duan Lingxiao widened his eyes when he saw this scene. He could not help but gulp a mouthful of saliva. Wasn't the difference in realm a little too great? Could she be at the 10th stage of the Great Void Realm? She couldn't be at the Heavenly Tao Realm, right? That shouldn't be possible, right? But if she was only at the 10th stage of the Great Void Realm, she shouldn't have been able to instantly kill these Great Void Realm cultivators so easily, right? He was doomed. He was really doomed this time. He had failed. He had failed again. He hurriedly threw down the communicator and vanished from his spot. He had to run. He felt the threat of death. He had failed again. He had completely lost his composure. What else could he do? What should he do next? Why was it so difficult to kill Lin Xian? He also understood why those people from before had failed. However, why was it that Lin Xian could encounter him but not him? Why? Why was that? It was because he was very, very far away, more than 10 kilometers away. Therefore, even Su Delin could not catch up to him. Lin Xian appeared beside Su Delin with a spatial jump. Hey, you killed all of them. Didn't I leave one behind? Su Delin quietly took out a bag of potato chips and tore it open to eat. Lin Xian glanced at an old man in the corner who was still breathing and woke him up. Gulp. The old man swallowed a mouthful of saliva and revealed a dumbfounded expression. Heavenly Tao. Impossible. How can there be a heavenly Tao at this stage? The old man's face was filled with disbelief. However, it must be the heavenly Tao that could kill them so easily. Tell me who asked you to do it. Even if I tell you, can you spare my life? The old man seemed to have thought of his ending. Maybe. After all, we're not enemies. You were only asked to do it. As if there was a slight chance, the old man said, Duan Lingxiao. Lin Xian sneered. It was indeed him. How do you know him? His Majesty found him and asked him for help. His Majesty? Which one? Yang Guang. Emperor Yang of Sui, Yang Guang? Lin Xian pondered for a moment. An emperor during the Sui and Tang dynasties. According to history, he seemed to be a tyrant. Kill him, Lin Xian said indifferently. Then Su Delin casually killed him with a move of her hand. Lin Xian did not need to ask about Duan Lingxiao. This Duan Lingxiao had created a law now, so he must have run away. Lin Xian knew that Duan Lingxiao wanted to kill him. However, he was in the dark while Lin Xian was in the light. If he had known, Lin Xian would have found an opportunity to kill him at the banquet. Now he probably could not find him. However, Lin Xian did not know that he was Duan Lingxiao's target. Duan Lingxiao had to kill him. If Lin Xian knew this, Lin Xian would have killed him no matter what. Go back. Lin Xian and Su Delin left. He had to think of a way to set up something that could perfectly protect the girls in their residence. This Duan Lingxiao might do something crazy. At this moment, Duan Lingxiao was walking in a daze. Chapter 1673. Why? Why is it so hard for me to kill someone? Duan Lingxiao's mental state had completely exploded. Duan Lingxiao was also a genius. What did he not have? As for that Lin Xian, he was born as an ordinary person. He could not even cultivate. Why was he inferior to him in every aspect? Why was he always able to escape from the tiger's mouth when it was a sure-kill situation? Duan Lingxiao roared angrily. He could not go back. He was referring to Emperor Yang of Sui. It was impossible for him to still be in the mood to help Emperor Yang of Sui. He could not even appear in the open because he knew that Lin Xian must have known it was him. He guessed that Lin Xian was going to thoroughly kill him now. He could not be exposed. However, if he did not do anything, he would lose everything. He would even lose his life. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Boom! Duan Lingxiao smashed a tree with a punch. He really could not accept that his fate would end here. However, he really had no other choice now. No, even if I die, I won't let you have it easy. He thought of something. He wanted to kill the people around Lin Xian. However, this was another world. Even if he killed the people around Lin Xian, what was the use? He might not even be able to defeat Morong Yu and the others. F***ck. What should he do? He stayed in Jiangnan City. He wanted to find a chance to kill Lin Xian. Really, even if the virtual realm could not do it, he could not just wait for death like this, right? At first, when he saw that he had triggered the mission to kill Lin Xian, he was simply too happy. However now, no. Duan Lingxiao will not die so easily. Duan Lingxiao quickly activated the mission. Although he couldn't complete the quest to kill Lin Xian, he could still activate other quests for half a month. If he was lucky and didn't sleep or rest, he might be able to complete all the quests and earn enough points to leave this place alive. Half a month later at dusk. It's time. Lin Xian exhaled. He was still eating hot pot with them when everyone came over. It's about time. I should go. Lin Xian stood up. Where are you going? Lu Qingzhu asked curiously. In fact, only two people knew about this, Dongfang Shui and Mu Qingya. Me? I'm going to do something big, Lin Xian said with a smile. Brother-in-law, are you really leaving? At first, Mu Feifei thought that what Lin Xian said half a month ago was a joke. Lin Xian nodded. Where to? And just think of it as me going out for training. Lin Xian put on his jacket and lit a cigarette. This time, I've done everything that needs to be done. I also feel that it's very perfect. My luck is also very good, and I've also met many friends. It's just a pity that I can't accompany you to watch the changes of Earth's era. Hey, what's going on? Qin Yijuan looked at Lin Xian curiously. Hey, I'm just going to a place to train. Mu Qingya said. I'll drive you. No, you guys eat. I'll go by myself. Okay, Mu Qingya didn't say much. Remember what I told you before. Cultivate well, and keep a low profile. I'm leaving. In the end, Lin Xian glanced at their faces one by one. See you next time. Dongfang Shui said softly. And see you next time. Then Lin Xian released the spatial attribute and directly disappeared on the spot. After Lin Xian left, the girls were still in a daze. Where did brother-in-law go? Sister, you must know. Mu Feifei asked. Didn't he say it? He went out for training, which is very important to him. It may take a few months or half a year before he comes back, but when he comes back, he will be a very powerful master. Ha! So long? Mu Feifei lowered her little head. Cultivate well. Dongfang Shui sat down and said. In any case, she had already made preparations. She just had to wait and see when Lin Xian would come back. What he said must be true, so she didn't have to worry about that. On the other side, Lin Xian came to the place where he had landed and smoked not far away. Sigh, I really don't want to, but, Lin Xian thought for a moment. There were so many girls on the sky blue planet. He also missed them. When I have the ability, the first thing I'll do is connect these two worlds. Lin Xian thought for a moment. Of course, this was just Lin Xian's imagination. How could it be possible to connect the two worlds? And it might not be a good thing. Okay, I'll bring them together when the time comes. Lin Xian looked ahead. Hey. Up ahead, there were 4 girls who had arrived very early. Mu Rongyu, Ling Ying, Wang Xintong, and Xiao Xingyue. You're here so early. It's okay. Are the others not here yet? Lin Xian glanced at them. Not yet, it's just the 5 of us. There were a few others that even Lin Xian couldn't contact. However, he believed that there wouldn't be any problems. You don't say. I just became a superstar. It feels pretty good to be a superstar. I'll go back and ask an Xian for some advice. Ling Ying said with a smile. No way, little Ying, you want to be a superstar? Lin Xian opened his mouth. I just want to. Are you done talking to your girlfriends here? Ling Ying asked. Lin Xian. Ahem, what are you talking about? Wang Xintong blinked and then greeted. Hey, over here. A figure flashed to their side. Long time no see. It was Wu Yuhan. Xiao Yuhan, I missed you. Lin Xian smiled and opened his arms. Then he went to the girls. Shameless. Ling Ying glared at Lin Xian. Yuhan, let me tell you. He's flirting with girls here. I guessed it. Wu Yuhan said calmly. Lin Xian. Damn. He felt that he was being antagonized. Who else is not here? Chu Xue. And Feng Ling, I'm here. A voice was heard. Feng Ling ran over. Lin Xian looked at the beautiful girl. Long time no see. Feng Ling was very happy to see everyone. Long time no see, Ling Ying. I saw you on TV. Ling Ying was a little embarrassed. Beautiful, right? Yes, yes. I was following your show. In the end, I saw you win the championship. Of course. Ling Ying nodded proudly. They had so much to talk about when they met again. And little Chu Xue. She should be here soon. Lin Xian missed Han Chuxue very much too. About 30 minutes later, Han Chuxue also arrived, which meant that everyone was present. Damn. You guys are here so early. The 9th person, Zhugafeng, also walked over with a smile. Chapter 1674. Currently, everyone was here. Oh, of course, there was one person who did not come. That was Duanling Xiao. It did not matter to Lin Xian whether he came or not. Even if he came, what could he do? Lin Xian did not care about him at all. Even if he came, Lin Xian did not care about him at all. Long time no see. Lin Xian smiled and hugged Zhuge Feng. Ha ha ha, seems like young Master Lin has been living quite comfortably these few months. Zhuge Feng laughed. Oh, how can you tell? I've been paying attention to young Master Lin. Lin Xian was quite famous in this circle. He might not know the others, but it was easier for others to know about Lin Xian. Ha ha ha, it's good, it's good. How have you been recently? Don't mention it. I've experienced the life of an ordinary person. It's not bad. It's made me feel more enlightened. How about you guys? What did you guys get? Lin Xian smiled and said, we'll talk about it later. TSK mysterious. The things they exchanged for could not be used now. They had to ensure that they had enough system points before returning. When they returned, there would probably be a chance for them to exchange for something. Lin Xian looked at the time. 3 more hours. We can finally go back. Actually, I think this place is quite good. I'm just a little shocked that there's another world here. Yeah, they chatted. Close to 3 hours passed quickly. Duan Ling Xiao is not here yet? Zhuge Feng realized that something was not right. It was very good news that 9 out of 10 of them were here. However, Duan Ling Xiao should not have failed. In fact, Lin Xian also felt that something was not right. How could Duan Ling Xiao not complete the mission? It should not be so. If he knew that his ultimate mission was to kill him, Lin Xian, then Lin Xian would laugh. It doesn't matter if he's here or not, Lin Xian said. That's true. I'm just a little curious. At this moment, a system notification appeared in each of their minds. Congratulations on completing the mission. The return teleportation portal will open in 5 minutes. Please be prepared. They looked at each other. I'm leaving. Well, I'm leaving. Why do I feel a little reluctant? Yeah, I can't bear to leave too. I've made a lot of friends here. It's a pity that this is not a place for us to stay. But I miss my friends and family on Sky Blue too. Lingying said as she stretched her body. Alright, get ready to go back. Lin Xian said. Yes. 5 minutes later, a bolt of lightning flashed in the sky, followed by a beam of light. Say, if the people here enter this teleportation portal, will they be able to go to Sky Blue? Morong Yu asked. Han Chuxue shook her head. I don't think so. They might die. I think so too. Otherwise, wouldn't it go against the rules? Wu Yuhan said. Sai, we're already here. What are you still thinking about? Let's go in. They looked behind them. Duan Ling Xiao was still not there. Looks like Duan Ling Xiao is going to die. But it doesn't matter. Then they stepped into the teleportation portal. Whoosh, then they disappeared on the spot. The next moment, they arrived in an independent space. Lin Xian opened his eyes. The people around him were gone. He was in a pure white space. Congratulations on passing the test of the God's Awakening door. Please use your system points to exchange for the ability you want. Whoosh! Then, a panel appeared in front of Lin Xian. There were full attributes, creation, destruction, and all sorts of other things, but Lin Xian already had full attributes. The things he needed. Lin Xian took a look. Double all attributes. What did that mean? It did not mean that the space was doubled. It meant that Lin Xian's strength and speed were doubled. This was good stuff. Lin Xian chose to exchange. Most people would probably choose to exchange for a new attribute or a new law. However, Lin Xian did not lack these. He also had some system points. The creation and destruction laws were already the strongest. Lin Xian did not want to look at the laws anymore. He wanted to look at the domains. There were many domains for him to choose from. He was also divided into T-level, T0 and T1. Lin Xian saw his domain in T0. It was a domain that lowered the realm. However, if he wanted to exchange for this domain, he would need almost all his system points. In other words, all his system points could only be exchanged for such a domain. This was enough to show how powerful this domain was. In addition to this domain, Lin Xian looked at the other top-level domains. For Lin Xian, he felt that the biggest improvement should be the top-level domains and laws. It was the same for everyone. Of course, there were also attributes. However, Lin Xian already had all of them. One experience could exchange for a top-level domain, law, or attribute. It was really amazing. This domain is quite interesting. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. What domain was it? An absolute increase in the domain. In the domain, his realm would increase by 2 stars. Although it was only 2 stars, there was something awesome about it. Just like lowering the realm, the domain ignored one's realm. That also meant that even if he was in the heavenly Tao, by activating this domain he could increase his cultivation by 2 stars. Then if his realm lowered, the domain lowered by 3 stars, or even 4 stars in the future, the gap would be reduced. This was a good thing. However, it also corresponded to a very thorny problem. That was the huge consumption of spiritual energy. Think about it. Once a domain was activated, the domain's power would increase one's cultivation by 2 stars in the heavenly Tao realm. How much power would be needed to support it? How much spiritual energy would be consumed per second? This was a crucial point. However, this was definitely a very good thing for Lin Xian. Exchange. Lin Xian exchanged for the domain. Shua. A light appeared in front of him. Enter the teleportation array, and you will return to Sky Blue Planet. Lin Xian took a deep breath. May I ask who you are? There was no answer. This voice was the system's voice. However, Lin Xian had a feeling that there was a powerful existence controlling this system. All right. Lin Xian then walked in. He was back. Shua. With a flash of light, Lin Xian appeared in the divine domain. This was the entrance to the God's Awakening door. In front of him was the God's Awakening door. But now, the God's Awakening door was tightly shut. Lin Xian. When Morongfeng saw Lin Xian return, he hurriedly walked over. Other than Morongfeng, there were many other experts, including Ling Ying's father, Ling Hai, Han Chushua's father, Han Guang, Feng Ling's father, Feng Qingyang, etc. Basically, everyone here was related to the people who entered the God's Awakening door. They knew that they would return today. Chapter 1675. Lin Xian looked at Morongfeng, then smiled and gave Morongfeng a bear hug. Uncle Morong. Good. Good job. Ling Hai and the rest walked over. Little Xian, Little Ing and the rest. Lin Xian frowned. Then he shook his head. Lin Xian couldn't remember. He couldn't remember anything. He couldn't even remember that they were together on Earth. Oh right, I almost forgot. I can't remember anything after coming back from the God's Awakening door. Ling Hai nodded. Congratulations. Xiao Runing walked over and looked at Lin Xian. Xiao Ningning, I missed you so much. Lin Xian smiled and hugged Xiao Runing. Xiao Runing blushed. Xiao Zun and her mother were behind them. In their eyes, Xiao Runing was Lin Xian's girlfriend. It's good that you're fine. Xiao Runing said. Shua. A second person appeared beside Lin Xian. Ling Ling Feng Qingyang let out a long sigh of relief when he saw Feng Ling come out. He was pleasantly surprised. Second sister, you look haggard. Feng Qingyu said with a smile. Get lost. Feng Ling glared at him. Dad. Feng Qingyang nodded. Okay. Then a few people came out one after another. Dad. Sister. Lin Xian glanced around. Many familiar faces were here. However, Yi Runbing and the rest didn't come. They obviously knew that Lin Xian was back, but they didn't come. They should be able to see Lin Xian now. Everyone was back except for Duan Lingxiao. Lin Xian, Lingxiao didn't come? Duan Tianming asked. All 9 of them were back, but Duan Lingxiao, Lin Xian shook his head. I don't know. Yes, you don't know. You've all forgotten. Duan Tianming nodded. Wait. Maybe he was still exchanging things there. Lin Xian, I'll go home with my parents first. Ling Ying said to Lin Xian. All right. I'm going back too. Han Chushua said. Then, all the girls went home. Lin Xian, I'm going back with Dad too. Wang Xintong said to Lin Xian. Qin Feng had taken her in as his goddaughter a long time ago. Okay, Uncle Qin, thank you. Qin Feng laughed and said. You stinky brat. How could my daughter be in trouble? You should go home quickly. Many people must be missing you. Yes. Lin Xian nodded. Xiao Yuhan, come back with me. Lin Xian said to Wu Yuhan. Everyone else had family members. Wu Yuhan was definitely going to be taken away by Lin Xian. Okay. Wu Yuhan nodded. Then we'll go first. Then, everyone went their separate ways. However, this was only temporary. Duan Tianming was about to explode. He had waited for a kid, but he didn't see his son return. Out of the 10 of them, only his son was in trouble? He couldn't accept it. He really couldn't accept it. On the plane, Lin Xian and Wu Yuhan sat together. What's this? Wu Yuhan saw Lin Xian take out a piece of paper. I don't know. Let me see. Lin Xian looked at it. There were some words written on it. Lin Xian could tell that it was his handwriting. After all, his handwriting was ugly. The first sentence was, "Behind the God's awakening door is earth." Lin Xian was stunned, because he had forgotten all about it. He was shocked when he saw this. He knew that he would forget everything. Therefore, he specially wrote this before he came. He wanted to tell himself that even if he forgot everything, he still had to remember the most important news. Earth? Lin Xian muttered to himself. Others wouldn't have such thoughts. However, Lin Xian was different. Dongfang Shui is fine now. She's waiting for me to return. This was the second sentence. Lin Xian stood rooted to the ground. Wu Yuhan couldn't understand it. The third sentence was, "New girls on earth. Mu Qingya Mu Feifei. Address, F*CK. Lin Xian swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The fourth sentence was, "Earth is entering a new era. Qin Shi Huang and the others are awakening." The fifth sentence was, "I must work hard to reopen the God's awakening door and return." You still want to go back? Wu Yuhan was stunned when she saw the fifth sentence. I have a reason to go back. Although Lin Xian couldn't remember everything, he knew what he wanted to do. He also knew that these people were very important to him. Oh, Wu Yuhan didn't know what this lunatic Lin Xian wanted to do. She also couldn't remember. Go home. Okay. Lin Xian then used the law of creation to create a phone. He logged into his WeChat and opened the group. Babies, I'm back. This group was Lin Xian's harem group, of course. Before Lin Xian sent the message, the entire group had already become lively, and everyone was chatting happily in the group. Lan Xingxing was the first to send a message. Lin Xian, Lin Xian, Lin Xian, come back quickly. I miss you. I miss you so much. TSK, I don't miss you. This was a message from Miao Xiaomiao. Zhao Yunqi Ziqiyue, and Xian Yi, Lu Yufan Murongqing by Xian Xian Luo Chenxi, and the others were also happily replying. Of course, there were also Linglong Shui, Bing Lingyue, Yirenbing, and the others. Oh, Huangxi also joined. She also came out to say something. Linglong Yu also came out to say something, not to be outdone. Anyway, Lin Xian was their backbone. Lin Xian didn't come, so the group didn't chat much. The group of girls was divided into several groups. Yi, Lu Yufan, Lan Xingxing, and Xian Miao Xiaomiao, Zhao Yunqi, and Ziqiyue belonged to one group. Murongqing, by Xian Xian Luo Chenxi, and Leng Wuxin belonged to another group. Linglong Shui and the others belonged to another group. Lin Xian, where are you now? An Xian asked. I'm on the way back to Lin City. I think I'll be back tonight. Let's get together tonight. Of course. Let's all come. Okay, where are we going? Why don't we all go to Sister Linglong's place? I don't know where they are. Come to my place. I'll lead the way. Okay. Lin Xian looked at them chatting happily and couldn't help but smile. He was still very happy. They started to talk about preparing a big meal. Lin Xian was back. It was a big day. They hadn't seen him for a few months. They really had to celebrate his triumphant return. If you said you missed him, then you really missed him. Although not many people showed it. Do you miss little Shir and the others? Wu Yuhan asked. Damn. You're talking nonsense. How can I not miss them? I want to run over and pinch her little cheeks right now. Lin Xian was excited when he thought of this. Really, this might be the thought of a father. He really missed them. That's true. Today was probably a big day because everyone would gather together. Of course, except for Ling Ying and the others. Since they were back, they definitely had to go home first. Chapter 1676. Linglong Shui and the rest also knew that Lin Xian had returned. They were currently preparing some ingredients at home. The others were either on the way or buying food from the supermarket. It feels like time flies. Earbook sighed as she sat on the sofa. Yes, it does. Linglong Shui nodded. This was especially so for them. The devil race had a very long lifespan, so they felt that time passed even faster. The main thing was that every day was very interesting, and their lives were very fulfilling. They also felt that time passed very quickly, especially when they saw little Tianny and little Shishir grow up. This was a kind of happiness. It's been a long time since I beat up Lin Xian. When he comes back, I'm going to give him a good beating. Ling Longyue said excitedly. You can beat him? Earbook laughed. Who said I can't? Ling Longyue stuttered. I reckon that when he comes back this time, his combat strength will increase by at least 50%. Bing Lingyue said. I'm not too sure. After all, we haven't entered the God's Awakening door before. Let's see what kind of power he can obtain. However, it's quite difficult to increase one's combat strength by 50%. Huangxi walked over wrapped in an apron and placed the washed fruits on the table. She also came early. After all, Lin Xian was back. She couldn't not come, right? She also wanted to see him. Could it be that he's already a heavenly Dao? Huangxi said casually. That's impossible. He only left for 3 months. How can a heavenly Dao be promoted in 3 months? Earbook shook her head. What if? Bing Lingyue said with a smile. Yes, he can't be judged with common sense. That bastard. He didn't even look for us to chat. Ling Longyue pouted her lips. We also didn't go to pick him up. That's because we wanted to prepare a feast for him. Ling Longyue said. They didn't want to pick him up? Of course they wanted to. However, they were special. That place was filled with the top experts of the human race. It was best for them not to appear there. There was also Huangxi and Earbook. They were all demon gods. If they were recognized, it would be a big problem. It might even bring trouble to Lin Xian. Even if Lin Xian were to explain, would any real human believe such a special and sensitive identity? Therefore, they chose to stay at home. Mom! Xiao Shishir blinked her beautiful big eyes and rubbed against Linglong Shui's chest. What happened? Linglong Shui ruffled her hair. Little Shishir must be hungry. Linglongyu said. I've never seen a baby who can eat more than her. Then, Shikachan reached out and kicked Linglongyue. Linglong Shui obviously knew that little Shishir wanted to eat the fruit that Huangxi brought over, so she took a watermelon for her to chew on. Even if she didn't have real teeth yet, this watermelon was soft and she had no problem eating it. Little Tianny looked on enviously. Then, he silently crawled toward Shikachan and stubbornly reached out his hand towards the watermelon. Little Shishir reached out her hand and kicked his face while eating the watermelon. He was being bullied to death. Everyone was used to it. After all, he was the younger brother. It was normal for the younger brother to be bullied by the older sister. However, it was also because they were close. I wonder what they will be like when they grow up. Bing Lingyue smiled. In short, they must be close. In such an environment, it was destined that the siblings would be very close to each other. I mean, this kid won't be bullied for the rest of his life, right? Earbook shook her head helplessly and said, It's normal for the younger brother to be bullied by the older sister. Uft. Linglongyu couldn't help but laugh out loud. It was as if she thought about how little Tianny would be suppressed by Shikachan for many years to come. She felt that it was very funny. However, she also felt that if Shikachan was bullied, little Tianny would be the first to stand up for her. Similarly, only Shikachan could bully little Tianny. Others couldn't. If little Tianny was bullied, Shikachan would be the first to stand up for him. They gradually completely adapted to such a simple and ordinary life. It was really good. The main thing was that they had a baby. In fact, they didn't have many thoughts about it. Let's make some preparations. Everyone is probably coming. Linglong Shui said. Okay. They cleared the entire house. They estimated that there would be more than 10 girls coming. 1 table was not enough. Obviously, they had to have 2 tables. Everyone hadn't been so excited in a long time. It couldn't be helped. Lin Xian was their hub. After getting off the plane, Lin Xian directly released his space attribute and brought Wu Yuhan to the door that they had been missing for a long time. Dong dong dong. Lin Xian knocked on the door. I'm coming, I'm coming. Ling Longyue thought it was another girl and ran over to open the door. Then she saw Lin Xian. Yo, you've grown a little. Lin Xian revealed his trademark smirk and looked at Ling Longyue. Ling Longyue opened her small mouth. TSK, the most unimportant one came. Ling Longyue muttered. Of course, her heart was definitely not like that. I think you're looking for a beating. Lin Xian glared at her. Humph. Then she walked into the room. The girls were busy, leaving Shika-chan and little Tianny on the sofa. When they heard the commotion, they looked over. When they saw Lin Xian, they were pleasantly surprised. However, one had to know that they were all experts. This surprise might not be shown on their faces. On the surface, they were still relatively calm. Lin Xian looked at the room full of noble and beautiful girls and sucked in a breath of cold air. Was there any scenery more beautiful than this? Xiao Linglong, little Lingyue, little Bingbing, I missed you so much. Lin Xian opened his arms. Unfortunately, no one came into his embrace. What about me? Huangxi walked out from the kitchen. Missed you too, missed you too. Lin Xian smiled and scratched his head. Wu Yuhan looked at them and was secretly shocked. Although she had seen him before, to be honest, this Lin Xian was really amazing. Say, it was fine if he could get one of these girls, but why was there a room full of them? You guys sit down and rest. Linglong Shui poured a cup of tea for them. Thank you, Wu Yuhan said politely. Oh, my little babies, I missed you guys so much. Lin Xian looked at Shika-chan and Tianny on the sofa. Then he quickly ran over and hugged Shika-chan. He kissed her cheeks, causing Shika-chan to be disgusted. Did you miss me? Lin Xian smiled and looked at Shika-chan. The others just looked at them. Yes, Shika-chan still said. Damn. You can talk now. The key point was that she could understand his words. Shika-chan is definitely not simple. Shika-chan should be very soon. Bing Lingyue said. Chapter 1677. For Lin Xian, this was the biggest surprise since his return. Little Tianny sat on the sofa and opened his arms, asking for a hug. Lin Xian then hugged them one in each arm. Happiness. I missed you so much. Lin Xian kissed them back and forth until their faces were covered in saliva. Little Shishir is disgusted with you. Yurenbing said. She dares. Lin Xian laughed. Little Shishir then whimpered at Lin Xian. Lin Xian hugged them and sat on the sofa. Come and sit. What are you busy with? Everyone is coming over later. Linglong Shui said. Let's go out and eat. That won't do. How can we feel at home when we go out? Plus, everyone is buying all kinds of ingredients. Linglong Yu muttered. All right, let's wait for everyone to come and cook together. Okay. They sat on the sofa. Did you miss me? Lin Xian asked with a grin. Nope. Linglong Shui shook her head. TSK, go against your heart. Women are creatures who don't mean what they say. I really didn't miss you. Lin Xian, wow. Your words are too hurtful. What about you? What ability did you get from the God's Awakening Door? Huangxi asked. My attributes doubled and I got a domain. That's it. That's not enough? The main thing is that I have all attributes. Actually, I can get other attributes like space, time, and so on. But I already have all of them, so I can only get a domain. They looked at each other. What is this God's Awakening Door? Is it a game world? Is it a law set by an expert? Otherwise, how can we get these things? Bing Lingyue asked doubtfully. I forgot. Wu Yuhan also said. We forgot all about it after we came out. All right. Right. Did anything big happen in the continent these few months? Lin Xian asked. Yes. They nodded. What? Although it had only been 3 months, 3 months was enough for some big things to happen. What happened was even more than Lin Xian had imagined. Linglong Shui said. In the past few months, 3 major events have happened on the continent. The first one is the demon race. Demon race? What's wrong? It's not peaceful anymore? Linglong Shui nodded. Yes, the Myriad Demon League has reopened the Demon God Temple, and many powerful demon gods have been born. However, Huangshi's second demon god temple is still the second demon god temple, but now there are not only 10 demon god temples but 15. At the same time, the Myriad Demon League has been reshuffled. It is said that several top existences from the ancient times have appeared, and the Myriad Demon League is now led by them. Currently, 2 of them should be the 9-headed heavenly demon bat and the undead. Lin Xian frowned. 9-headed heavenly devil bat and the undead race? What are those? Ling Longshui explained. They're all existences from ancient times. Some might even think that they're extinct, but they're not. The 9-headed heavenly demon bat is a kind of bat-type monster beast, but it's already beyond this category. It has 9 heads and is very difficult to deal with. Especially its attacking method. It's very difficult for warriors to deal with. It's a very terrifying existence, and the undead race. The undead race is a race similar to the elves, dragons, and phoenixes. The undead race is like their name, they are very difficult to kill. Difficult to kill, that means they can be killed. Then why are they called the undead race? Lin Xian shrugged. No. This is a very scary race. It is said that in the ancient times, the undead race was an existence that could compete with the dragons and Qilins. Lin Xian. That was enough of an image. Then why did they disappear? I don't know, but there must be a reason. Now that they have returned, just the return of one undead race, it is destined that Sky Blue Planet will not be peaceful, Ling Longshui said. Then how do we kill them? Although Lin Xian had not come into contact with them yet, he felt that he would come into contact with them sooner or later. It might not even be long, because Sky Blue Planet was not peaceful anymore. Why did she say too? Ling Longshui said. The undead race is not truly immortal. From what I know, no matter how serious their injuries are, they can recover in an instant. But if you want to kill them, you just have to kill them in one hit. As long as you can't kill them in one hit, it is impossible to kill them. Lin Xian stroked his chin. Therefore, when their realm reaches a relatively high level, they are, in a certain sense, immortal. Yes, because at the Heavenly Dao realm, unless it is absolute strength, it is impossible to kill them in one hit. In fact, even if it is absolute strength, it is impossible for a Heavenly Dao realm being to die so easily, unless it is under special circumstances. Lin Xian stroked his chin. Are you sure they are enemies? Yes. This is going to be troublesome. Lin Xian rubbed his temples. It is quite troublesome. Furthermore, the undead race is just one of them. There are other existences. What about the other important matters? Lin Xian asked. In addition, there's also the matter of the human race. Some of the human race's forces have also made a high-profile announcement. Lin Xian scratched his head. I saw it on the news. Bing Lingyue then said. It is said that they are reclusive human family clans and factions. These existences have been reclusive for thousands of years. There are such family clans? Yes, there are. It is said that they are a level higher than the top family clans. They have extremely powerful geniuses. The moment these geniuses appeared, they crushed many geniuses of their generation. Some of them even went to the martial arts academy to become tutors. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth twitched. How old are they to become tutors? Although they are young, their cultivation levels are basically all 9 or 10 stars of the Great Void Realm. Alright, what else? There is another matter. It is regarding your sister. Lin Xian frowned. What's the matter? It's nothing. You mentioned before that the organization your sister is in is a faction that is searching for the 12 demon gods' powers. And at present, they have probably found everything they can find, because no one has been able to stop them for the past 3 months. Lin Xian frowned. I know that. During this period of time, they have also launched some attacks on some places of the human clan, causing quite a commotion. At present, they have already begun to challenge the human clan. Yes, the 3 major factions should be involved. Yes, but they are few in number and their whereabouts are uncertain. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. I have to think of a way to solve this matter. Little Fairy was still there. Lin Xian had to solve this problem. Chapter 1678. There had been a lot of things happening on Sky Blue in the past few months. All three of them were major events. Does this mean that the Sky Blue Goblin clan is going to attack the humans? Although the demon race hadn't stopped all these years, they had such thoughts now that the top existences of the demon race were shuffling. I think so. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. It was not peaceful anymore. The humans were in a lot of trouble now. Firstly, there was the threat of the Goblin clan. Secondly, there were some internal issues such as Zhao Mingyue and the others. However, there was also good news. The hidden families of Sky Blue Planet that had been hidden from the world for hundreds, or even thousands of years had finally come out. This was good news for the human race because this was a huge amount of fighting power. Knock knock knock. There was a knock on the door. Ling Longyue quickly ran over to open the door. Good evening. A few girls walked in with things in their hands. Lin Xian looked over. Miao Xiaomiao, Zhao Yunqi Ziqiyue, and Xian, Lu Yufan Yi Lan Xingxing, and the other girls walked in together. The room instantly became lively. Their first reaction when they walked in was to look at Lin Xian. Yes, they saw him. Their next reaction was to act as if they did not care about Lin Xian. They chatted with the other girls. In fact, how could they not care? However, there was a traitor among them. Lin Xian, Lin Xian, Lin Xian. Lan Xingxing rushed over when she saw Lin Xian. I missed you so much, oh traitor. Traitor. The other girls pursed their lips. Lin Xian tried to hold back his laughter. Did you miss me or my cooking? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Both. Lan Xingxing stuck out her tongue. We brought a lot of food. Yi said. Okay, leave it there for now. Come sit and drink some water. Bing Lingyue said with a smile. Okay. Then they all gathered around. Little Sure, I missed you so much. Lu Yufan came over and snatched little Sure from Lin Xian's arms. Hey, I haven't hugged you enough yet. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose and said. Then Ziqiyue snatched little Tianyi away. I want a hug too, Lu Yufan said. Lin Xian smiled helplessly. This group of girls, they deliberately pretended not to miss him, but in reality, they definitely missed him. Then can I hug you? Lin Xian said with a smile. Lu Yufan's pretty face reddened, especially in front of so many people. Go. Go away. In fact, even if many of them did not express it, they already knew. They knew that many girls were Lin Xian's girlfriends, and even Lin Xian had a baby. They were still willing to stay by Lin Xian's side, which was enough to show their thoughts. Lin Xian, tell us what happened in the God's Awakening door. An Xian sat over and asked. Won't we forget what happened in the God's Awakening door after we come out? Miao Xiaomao said. Oh right, I forgot. An Xian smiled awkwardly. She had already left the entertainment industry. How much did you improve in these 3 months? Lin Xian asked. A lot. We spent most of our time in the beast domain, so we improved a lot. Lin Xian nodded. That's good. You have to continue improving. Sky Blue Planet won't be peaceful in the future. Okay. Oh, Master Yi is back. Welcome. A voice came from the door. Morong Qing and Luo Chenxi walked in. I missed you so much. Give me a hug. Lin Xian smiled and opened his arms. Hey. You didn't even say anything when we came over. Miao Xiaomao said unhappily. That's right. This room is full of beauties. Why don't you hug someone else? Morong Qing teased. They're too small. I don't want to hug them. Miao Xiaomao was speechless. You bastard. She pointed at Lin Xian angrily. He was still that Lin Xian. Am I late? Bai Xianxian walked in with Leng Wuxin. Leng Wuxin did not want to come, but Bai Xianxian dragged her here. There are so many people. Bai Xianxian was shocked. Ahem. Lin Xian coughed dryly. The others were shocked too. There were too many people. There's also Sister Ling Ying and Sister Chuxue. Many people are not here. I'm afraid this is just the tip of the iceberg. Lu Yufan pursed her lips and said, Big brother, can you handle it? Can your body take it? Morong Qing smiled. Lin Xian was speechless. Everyone was speechless. Many of the girls blushed upon hearing this. There are too many people here. Huangxi was speechless. Moreover, The room was filled with beauties of all sizes. Who could resist this? There were still people who were not here? Is this room big enough? Lin Xian quickly changed the topic. 2 tables are enough. We just need to clear the other things. Then let's get to work. I haven't eaten all day. I've been waiting for this meal, Lan Xingxing said excitedly. Okay, let's get to work. This group of girls filled the kitchen. Lin Xian felt comfortable. He sat on the sofa and chatted with the girls. They had improved a lot in the past 3 months. All of them were on the path of cultivation. Because they had enough capital and power behind them, they did not lack anything. How's the Yixian group now? Lin Xian asked Luo Chenxi. Very good. It's on the right track, Luo Chenxi said after taking a sip of tea. Do you need me to do anything else? No. Luo Chenxi shook her head. Okay. But there's been a little problem recently. Morong Qing said. Ha. Lin Xian looked over in confusion. It's not really a problem. It's just that there's a Yang group in the mainland. This Yang group is quite impressive. They've come up with a lot of relatively novel products. These products have already been released and have received unanimous praise from the entire mainland. It's a bit like our Yixian group. They've all appeared out of nowhere and caused a huge uproar as soon as they were released. Yes. I bought a lot of them. Lu Yufan nodded and said. Me too. Yi Yi also nodded. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. What products? Many of them are small products. In terms of shock, they can't be compared to our Yixian group's products. But some of them are quite effective. For example this. Morong Qing took out a bead. This is? It's a spatial bead. After crushing it, you can teleport 10 meters away. It's a one-time item. Morong Qing said. Luo Chenxi nodded. This kind of bead can allow a warrior to teleport suddenly. It's worth buying. Chapter 1679. Lin Xian found it rather fascinating. This thing can be mass-produced? Yes. This is the amazing part. This kind of thing can be mass-produced, which leads to the supply of this thing being unable to meet the demand. Even if they only produce 1 teleportation bead, because it is a consumable item, and can even be called a necessity for warriors, it has caused a sensation in the continent. Lin Xian stroked his chin. This is rather impressive. To warriors, unless they were of the spatial attribute, how could they have spatial powers? However, this teleportation pearl could allow one to teleport 10 meters. This was truly ridiculous. Just a 10-meter teleportation could turn the tide of a battle. It was extremely useful in battle. Warriors of the spatial attribute had no use for it, but warriors of any other attribute could use it. Especially when most warriors weren't strong, such warriors needed it even more. Furthermore, if one had 100 of them, they could use them 100 times. 1,000 could use them 1,000 times. No matter how many of them there were, the supply would definitely exceed the supply. Even if they only produce 1 item, it would definitely make them rich. It's very impressive. They nodded. Each of us has at least a dozen of them, Zhao Yunqi said. That's right. This item is very useful, but I don't understand how it can be mass-produced. Then Lin Xian looked at Ling Longshui. Ling Longshui said, in theory this should be injected with spatial energy through some method. I can do it too, but no matter how weak the spatial energy is, if it's mass-produced, even a heavenly Dao realm cultivator wouldn't be able to do it. Furthermore, it's impossible for a heavenly Dao realm spatial warrior to do this every day, right? Lin Xian nodded. That's right. That's not realistic either. What about heaven and earth phase? It's possible that it's a natural spirit object, Huangxi said indifferently as she placed a pile of fruits on the table. But if it's some spatial type crystal, it's better to keep it for your own use. And for them to mass produce it, it means that this item isn't worth it to them. Or rather, there's a lot of it. Lin Xian nodded. This Yang group it's a hidden family. In the past few months, these hidden families have been keeping a low profile. However, they do have some skills. Even our Azura Palace has been attacked by them. Some of our members have been recruited by them. Bai Xianxian said. That's a small matter. It's understandable. However, their industry doesn't conflict with our Yixian group. We don't compete with them either. It can be considered a little. After all, they have established their reputation now. Moreover, there are some things that overlap with ours, which will affect us. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Is the meal ready? I'm hungry. Lin Xian shouted towards the kitchen. What are you shouting for? Do it yourself. Miao Xiao shouted. Lin Xian, do you want to make some? Lan Xingxing said expectantly. Don't. Lin Xian just came back. Let him rest. Oh, that's right. Lan Xingxing nodded. In a desolate land with no one around, the entire ground was sealed in ice. Those who didn't know would think that it was the north and south poles of a world of ice and snow. Above the void, lightning flashed as the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energies were extremely exaggerated. Slowly, the aura dissipated as the ice and snow vanished. Clap, 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 clap. The rhythmic sound of clapping was heard. Linya opened her beautiful eyes. It was truly beautiful. The current Linya was completely different from the Linya from before. She already had that kind of very special temperament, especially now that her snow-white hair was especially beautiful. However, her eyes were even colder than before, as if she had hidden that touch of tenderness in the deepest part of her heart. Zhao Mingyue smiled as she walked towards Linya while clapping. Congratulations on advancing to the heavenly Dao realm. Linya glanced at her without saying a word. Why? By following me, you went from a puny mystic heaven realm to the heavenly Dao realm in a short year. Aren't you happy? Aren't you satisfied? Linya wiped her hands and said lightly, everyone's choice is different. Not everyone likes strength. How many times do I have to tell you? No one doesn't like strength. Zhao Mingyue said lightly. Boss is right. In this world, even a child would hope to possess great power. Sanguine Fiend, who was considered an old acquaintance, said. There was also a young man with thick spectacles sitting next to him. He looked a little fair and tender. Perhaps everyone likes strength, but there are some things that they are not willing to exchange for with strength. Linya said. Did she really like strength? Was it really that absolute? Is it true that everyone likes strength? She didn't think so. Yes, she now possessed unimaginable strength, but this was definitely not what she wanted. And had she ever fantasized about possessing powerful strength? No. She could cultivate, but she just lacked attributes. However, she only wished to survive and earn money so that she could lead a better life with Xiaoxian. She had never thought of increasing her strength. Perhaps she really did not have the time or the mental strength to enter the demon beast domain. Let me tell you a piece of good news. Zhao Mingyue did not continue the topic, and instead changed the topic. Lin Xian is back. He should have become stronger. Upon hearing Lin Xian's name, Linya's delicate body trembled slightly. Is this considered good news? Zhao Mingyue curled her lips. Linya did not say a word. I promised you that I wouldn't deal with him, at least not now. At least, I won't do anything to him when he doesn't do anything to me. Zhao Mingyue said. However, Lin Xian had always been a huge knot in her heart. This was because Lin Xian was too terrifying. Now Lin Xian was already at the Great Void Realm. He was probably 7, 8, or even 9 stars, right? She had promised Linya that she would not do anything to Lin Xian because Lin Xian had yet to reach the heavenly Dao. She would always pay attention to Lin Xian and completely erase him before he reached the heavenly Dao. In fact, there was no need for that. In her eyes, Lin Xian was already nothing. The forces around her were so powerful that Lin Xian could not fight against them. However, if Lin Xian reached the heavenly Dao, he would still be afraid. However, she really wanted to fight against Lin Xian now. She was no longer someone Lin Xian could fight against. Instead, she hoped that Lin Xian could grow. She enjoyed this feeling. She enjoyed stepping on Lin Xian, who had already grown up. She wanted him to see what she, Zhao Mingyue, who had once looked down on her, was now. Let's go. We still have work to do. Chapter 1680. What else did they have to do? It might be something big. For someone with great ambition, and even a bit of a mental illness, The things they did might not be that simple. Boss, what are we going to do now? Are we going to control those human factions and make them ours? Blood Devil asked excitedly. Linya furrowed her brows. Heh. Zhao Minghua sneered. I don't care about those human factions. I care about the entire human race. Zhao Yingming's eyes flickered. Boss, what should we do then? After all, we're alone. Small Glasses, who was sitting there, adjusted his glasses and said, I think the more important thing now is to consolidate our forces. I'll bring you guys to a place first and find that person. Boss is referring to Dilin? Dilin was powerful. He was once the leader of the 12 demon gods. He was also the strongest. Zhao Minghua also needed this power. This was a power she absolutely couldn't lack. Once she obtained this power, she would be considered to have completely graduated. She didn't obtain all of the 12 demon gods' powers. Lin Xian snatched 2 of them, Dark Mist and Myriad Demonic Lightning. But for now it was still going smoothly. Yes, the location has been confirmed. Let's go. After this, follow me to the devil race. We won't be staying in the human race for now. Linya furrowed her brows. Why are we going to the devil race? Zhao Yingming's lips curled up. Let's go to the human race together. Let me become the king of the human race. Ha 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 ha. Then she looked up and laughed. On the other side, the girls in the room were eating very happily. Everyone was talking and laughing. It had been a long time since it was so lively. Little Tianny, you can't eat this. It's too spicy. Plus, you haven't grown teeth yet. An Xian hugged little Tianny and said carefully. They're all eating ghosts. A room full of eating ghosts. Murongqing smiled. Eating is the way of the king. Oh right, what did you get from the God Awakening door? Murongqing looked at Lin Xian and asked while eating. 1 domain, and then all my attributes are doubled. Lin Xian. All your attributes have doubled. Why are you so calm? Many of the girls were shocked. For others, this was a very terrifying increase. But for Lin Xian, this increase was not bad. He was quite satisfied with it, but it wasn't particularly heaven-defying. Then what's your current realm? 9 stars of the Great Void Stage. Lin Xian. So fast. Upon hearing Lin Xian's words, Lu Yufan and the others were secretly shocked. It's all right, Lin Xian scratched his head. I'm only at the domain realm. Lu Yufan pouted. The Grand Domain realm is already not bad. Continue to work hard and try to reach the Empyrean realm as soon as possible. That's amazing. Once you reach the Empyrean realm, don't think about increasing your cultivation realm too quickly. Lin Xian said. Okay. Time flies. Yi sighed. Yeah, it's really fast. Hey, what are you guys doing? Are you all tired of the secular world and want to become monks? Lin Xian said. That's not it. I really feel like time is flying by. She still remembered the first time she met Lin Xian at Tianhua Academy. At that time, everyone was so weak. Now, Lin Xian had become a super powerful existence. They were also working hard to improve. Your generation has already broken the norm. Bai Xianxian said. What do you mean by our generation? How much older are you than me? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. But it's true that the young people of this generation have improved their cultivation realm rapidly. They have already surpassed any other generation. Yeah, look at the others. They might not even reach the Great Void Stage in their decades, but you guys are all in your 20s. Of course, there is also a difference between geniuses. You are all geniuses. This is normal. There are still a majority of people who can't reach such a high realm, even if they work hard. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. I think it's all the same. Although we have a system in this era, the system will also determine your level based on your talent. The worse your talent, the more experience points you need to level up. It's not even something that hard work can make up for. Lin Xian said. That's true. Lin Xian, what are you going to do next? Are you going to break through the heavenly Tao? Lin Xian smiled and said. How can it be so easy to break through the heavenly Tao? This is a huge gap. It requires a great opportunity to break through in a short period of time. If there isn't such an opportunity, then it will depend on the situation. It's true that it's not so easy to break through the heavenly Tao, but it's just a matter of time for you. Maybe 8 or 9 years, or 3 to 5 years. Linglong Shui said. Will it take that long? Everyone? This is called long? To Lin Xian, this was called long. He had to return to Earth. His note clearly stated that he had to quickly advance to the heavenly Tao realm before returning to Earth. This was because there were still girls on Earth silently waiting for him. He couldn't make them wait for 5 or 10 years, right? It really won't be long. To the Fae, the heavenly Tao realm might take 100 years to break through, or even longer. To humans, the top geniuses will take 5 or 10 years without any opportunities. It might seem like many geniuses of your generation have reached the Great Void Realm, or the high levels of the Great Void Realm. But the heavenly Tao realm is the key to widening the gap. Some people might be geniuses now, but they might not be able to advance to the heavenly Tao realm their entire lives. Some might need decades or centuries, while others only need a few years. This is where the gap widens. Lin Xian stroked his chin. Yeah, I got it. By the way, Xiao Linglong, the advancement of the heavenly Tao realm requires a very critical factor, right? Linglong Shui nodded. Yes, there are 2 critical factors. First, the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energies are sufficient to support your advancement to the heavenly Tao realm. This isn't difficult, but the second factor is difficult. The heavenly Tao is a very special realm. In fact, many people fail to advance to the heavenly Tao not because they lack talent, but because they lack soul power. When your soul power reaches a certain level, coupled with your talent and cultivation level, you can attempt to break through to the heavenly Tao. Soul power? Is this soul power our soul? Lan Xingxing asked while blinking her large eyes. You can say that. There are strong and weak soul powers, but most of the time, you won't be able to sense its existence. This is because there are very few opportunities to use soul powers. For example, psyche, control, certain laws, etc. However, many things are closely related to soul powers. Chapter 1681. Lin Xian was well aware of this. Many martial artists would overlook soul power because they couldn't intuitively feel how it could help them. However, it was very, very important. Lin Xian had the law of creation and the law of destruction. Releasing these 2 laws required soul power, mental power, and spiritual power. Therefore, he knew how important soul power was. Therefore, when you are cultivating, you must remember to cultivate your soul power at all times. Linglong Shui looked at the group of girls and reminded them. Sister Linglong, how do we cultivate? Miao Xiaomiao asked. The cultivation of soul force is something you have to do when you are meditating. The cultivation of soul force is a very difficult thing. You might have to cultivate for 5 or 10 years before you can feel a slight increase in your soul force. Bing Lingyue nodded. Yes. Generally speaking, if you want to increase your soul power, you can only rely on some heaven and earth spiritual items. However, these items are very rare, much rarer than any other heaven and earth spiritual items. Then what should we do? There is always a way. Although it is rare, it can be found. It is just a matter of whether it is strong or weak. After all, the strong ones are hard to find, and the ordinary ones are easy to find. Under normal circumstances, from now on, you should focus on increasing your soul power. Grasp every little thing that can increase your soul power. As long as you are talented enough, the heaven's way will not be a problem. Yes. What about me? Lin Xian looked at Linglong Shui. Linglong Shui pondered for a moment and said, the strength of your soul power is already much stronger than ordinary warriors. It is not a problem for you to advance to the heaven's way. However, if you want to advance to the heaven's way more easily, you still need to increase your soul power. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, I will pay attention from now on. After all, I am only at the 9 stars of the Great Void Realm. I still have a 10 stars to prepare for the heaven's way. Okay. What do you plan to do next? Luo Chenxi asked. I want to do a lot of things, but I have no idea. Let's wait and see. I plan to spend some time with you guys. Lin Xian said with a smile. This was indeed what Lin Xian needed to do. It might not take a long time, a few days, a week, or half a month. Other things might be more important, including finding Linya. Of course, Lin Xian would definitely take this matter to heart. However, they really needed company. Otherwise, Lin Xian would really feel embarrassed. Tell me, after leaving for so long, how could you not spend some time with them? Especially since all of them were so magnanimous. They were all very nice. TSK, who needs your company? Miao Xiaomiao mumbled. Just you wait. When the time comes, I will definitely beat you up. TSK. It's getting late, everyone should go back and rest. Lin Xian glanced at the time and said, all right, then we'll head back first. Everyone, rest early. Then, the girls left in a grandiose manner. Previously, the house was so crowded that it was about to explode. Now that they left, they suddenly felt that although there were still a few people, it was still very spacious. With a thought, Lin Xian released the law of creation, and the entire house became exceptionally clean. This was too comfortable. The law of creation was too useful. It's getting late, everyone should go to sleep. Cough cough sleep. Lin Xian said awkwardly. They obviously knew what this B***TCH wanted to do. And then let's all rest. Hey little icy. Lin Xian called out to Renbing. And that little sure, help take care of her tonight. Lin Xian smiled awkwardly. Hey, shameless. Ling Longyue couldn't help but spit. I'm going to sleep with them. Then she released the power of space and disappeared. Lin Xian scratched his head. Renbing's lips curled up slightly. It's tiring enough to take care of one. You can leave little sure to Lingyue. Lin Xian looked at Bing Lingyue. And okay. Bing Lingyue nodded. Then little sure was carried away by her and Huangxi. Hee. Clatter, Lin Xian turned off the lights. Everyone returned to their rooms. Lin Xian and Linglong Shui went back to her room. If one were to say that Lin Xian liked anyone, he would like anyone. If one were to ask him to choose, he would not be able to pick anyone. However, there would always be a few girls who treated Lin Xian differently. These girls were all so beautiful and noble. Lin Xian would have to find one of them. Actually, there was no need to think too much. It was obviously Ling Longxue. The others also knew in their hearts that compared to Ling Longshui, they were different in Lin Xian's heart. Xiao Linglong, I missed you so much. Lin Xian hugged her as soon as they entered the room. Linglong Shui had now completely adapted to Lin Xian's identity. She had also adapted to Lin Xian's touch. They were already an old couple. Although it wasn't a lot this time, they already had a baby. She completely regarded herself as Lin Xian's woman. Go take a shower. Linglong Shui pushed Lin Xian and said. Of course, she knew what was going to happen next. To be honest, Lin Xian was going to suffocate to death. It had really been a long time. Although he was with Mu Qingya at that time, to be honest, Lin Xian didn't touch her much afterward because Lin Xian had been using the law of creation to create all kinds of things for them. Of course, Lin Xian didn't remember now. In any case, he just felt that he was suffocating. The main thing was that Xiao Linglong was too beautiful and so fairy-like. Even if Lin Xian wasn't suffocating now, he couldn't hold it in at all, okay? Let's kiss first and then go take a shower. Then Linglong Shui was helplessly spat on by Lin Xian. Let's go take a shower together. Linglong Shui. Lin Xian directly carried her up and walked to the bathroom indoors. After a big battle. During this period, your sister appeared a few times. She only left behind some power, but I think she should be fine. Linglong Shui lay there and said, well, I don't know where little fairy is now. Lin Xian sighed. A month ago, I tracked them once, but their tracks were not fixed. They don't have an absolutely fixed place. There are only a few of them, and they can go to the ends of the earth. I can't find them if I don't completely lock down their location. Linglong Shui shook her head. It's okay. There will always be a way. Oh right. Lin Xian suddenly slapped his forehead. Did my sister try to contact you? Linglong Shui shook her head. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't receive any contact. I went to the restaurant you mentioned before once in a while, but there was no news. Chapter 1682. The only place where Lin Xian could contact Linya was the small restaurant where they used to eat together. Previously, Lin Xian had indeed received some news from Linya, but since then, he hadn't received any news. However, Lin Xian could understand that it would be very difficult for Linya to find an opportunity. Perhaps, she really didn't have any special news to give him? No, that shouldn't be the case. It should be that Linya also knew that Lin Xian wasn't here. He had gone to the God's Awakening door, so she didn't find an opportunity to go there and give Lin Xian any news. And it's fine. As long as little fairy is fine, it's fine. I'll go take a look later. It shouldn't be difficult to find any news about her. Linglong Shui nodded. And it shouldn't be difficult. Many of their movements are very high profile. They will go to a place in a high profile manner, do something, and leave behind a bunch of traces. Lin Xian laughed. So it shouldn't be difficult. Actually, I don't have to go find little fairy, but I have to do it before she carries out her true ambitions and plans. Her ambitions were nothing more than that. But to realize these ambitions, ambition alone wasn't enough. You had to have the ability, and this ability wasn't enough. You had to have the capital to reach a certain level. Although the 12 demon gods were powerful, the 12 demon gods who had once brought chaos to the world were not only powerful, but each of them had reached a certain level of strength. Their realms were high enough that they were above everyone else. Tell me, although Zhao Mingyue has so much power now, how can she raise this power to the point where it's above everyone else? Impossible. How could she do something that the entire human race and the entire demon race couldn't? This wasn't realistic. However, there was indeed a thorny problem. Her influence was too small. She only had a few people, and those people were all top-notch experts. They also didn't have a fixed territory. It was too difficult to lock onto their position and capture them. This wasn't something that could be done with space. In order to do so, there were two conditions. Either they were fixed at a certain place, and you already knew that place, or you knew where they were going in advance. Otherwise, even Lin Xian even Linglong Shui couldn't lock onto them, so how could you find Linya? Now there were only two things that Lin Xian needed to do. First, raise his strength to the heavenly Dao realm. Only then would he have absolute capital. Second, find Linya. These were Lin Xian's two tasks at the moment. Rest. If there's anything else, we'll talk about it when you wake up. Lin Xian hugged Linglong Shui's delicate body. Yes. Then they fell asleep. Lin Xian slept soundly, and so did Linglong Shui. Early the next morning, Lin Xian was woken up by the fragrance coming from outside through the crack in the door. When he woke up, he realized that Linglong Shui had woken up at some point in time. Holy sh*t. How could he sleep so soundly? Lin Xian didn't even notice that the person beside him had woken up, opened the door, walked out, and closed the door. Perhaps it's because I'm sleeping too soundly at Xiao Linglong's place. Lin Xian chuckled. He didn't know how long it had been since he had such a feeling. No matter how he slept, he would always leave a wisp of his perception to pay attention to his surroundings. But with Linglong Shui, Lin Xian was absolutely relaxed. In the past, he needed to release his perception to protect himself and the people around him. But here he was protected. He could completely sleep. After all, there was a house full of heavenly Dao realm experts. Lin Xian looked out the window. It was raining heavily today. It was too early, so the light was still very dim. Lin Xian opened the door and walked into the living room. The living room's lights were lit, and it was especially dazzling. There was an exquisite breakfast on the table. Bing Lingyue, Yirenbing, Huangxi, Linglong Shui, Little Tianny, and Little Shishir had all woken up. They were sitting around the table and eating breakfast. Morning. Lin Xian said. Morning. You must be exhausted from last night. Yirenbing hugged Tianny and said as she fed him. Lin Xian, hey, don't drive. Lin Xian sat over. Little Shishir, hug me. Lin Xian looked at Little Shishir who was sitting there eating and couldn't help but hug her. No. Little Shishir said in a childish voice. Look, Little Shishir despises you. What? This is called liking me. Lin Xian then forcefully hugged her in his arms and teased this girl with a smile. But Little Shishir only had eyes for delicious food. When are you going back? Lin Xian then looked at Huang Shi and asked. Huang Shi paused in her eating. What? You want this sovereign to go back? She stared at Lin Xian. No, that's not what I meant. I'm just concerned about you. You have the entire demon god temple to take care of, and no one is as busy as you. I'm not afraid that you'll cause trouble. Come on, you just don't know what to talk about. Yurenbing exposed Lin Xian. He shook his head helplessly. Bullshit. I'm King Casanova. How can I not know how to talk to girls? Lin Xian was immediately unhappy. Huang Shi then said indifferently, this sovereign knows more about the demon god temple than you, so you don't need to worry. Oh, that? What about Xuebingxin and Xuebinglan? I didn't see them come last night. Lin Xian looked at Yurenbing and asked. Why? Do you miss them? I'm just asking. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. They have their own things to do. If you want to see them, this sovereign will ask them to come back in a few days. Okay. Lin Xian shrugged. What are you going to do today? Bing Lingyue asked. Me. It's raining outside, and there's nothing much to do. I'll accompany you guys, and then I'll go to the Yixian group to have a look. I can't accept that a company with the same experience as the Yixian group will overshadow me. They looked at Lin Xian, and then Bing Lingyue said. In fact, no matter what, there's no way to overshadow the Yang group. Their teleportation bead is a necessity. Compared to human warriors, it's more necessary than healing potions and spiritual energy recovery potions. Healing potions and spiritual energy recovery potions are produced by many companies, but only the Yang group produces teleportation beads. They have a monopoly. Lin Xian nodded. I know. I'm just trying to see if there's any way. In this world, only I, Lin Xian, can be in the limelight. No one else can. They shook their heads helplessly. After dinner, Lin Xian accompanied them for a while. After all, it was raining outside, and there was nothing much to do. Then Lin Xian went to the Yixian group. He hadn't been there for a long time. Chapter 1683. The Artian group was on the right track. There was nothing wrong with Luo Chenxi and Morong Qing, two beautiful and capable women, leading the Artian group. Lin Xian arrived at the Artian group and walked in. Hello, who are you looking for? The beautiful receptionist stopped Lin Xian and asked politely with a smile. Oh, I'm looking for your boss. Excuse me, may I know who you are? Do you have an appointment? She asked politely, obviously not knowing who Lin Xian was. Well, I don't have an appointment. Give Morong Qing a call and tell her that Lin Xian is here to see her. Lin Xian was helpless. After all, it had been so long, and Lin Xian rarely came to the Artian group. There were no familiar faces here. Even if there were, they would not be in this hall. Lin Xian did not know who to talk to even if he wanted to. He could not say that he was the boss of this group, could he? What was awkward was that he had given all his shares to them. Of course, there was still a small part of the shares with the Evil Fiend Temple. Thinking of this, Lin Xian suddenly realized. F***CK. There was still the Evil Fiend Temple. He almost forgot. Now, the people of the Evil Fiend Temple still thought that he and Morong Yu had taken their poison pills, and their lives were in their hands. Lin Xian and Morong Feng were playing a big game of chess to completely destroy the Evil Fiend Temple. He had forgotten about this. He had to ask Morong Qing. I'm sorry, Boss Qing is entertaining very important guests. She may not have time for now. What about Luo Chenxi? Boss Luo is also here. The receptionist felt that the man in front of her was not simple. He actually called the two bosses by their full names. Sir, I'll take you to the lounge to wait. I'll inform you when the time comes. Lin Xian nodded. Okay. About an hour later, Morong Qing and Luo Chenxi personally escorted a few people down. Lin Xian heard the commotion and came out as well. You don't have to send me off. I'll take my leave first. The handsome man said. Take care. Then he left the Artian group with a few people. Morong Qing and Luo Chenxi also saw Lin Xian. What happened? Lin Xian leaned over and asked. Let's talk upstairs. Yes. Then they went upstairs. The young lady at the front desk opened her mouth. Hey, you, who is that person? Why can you speak to President Qing and President Luo directly? I don't know either. I've never seen it before. At this time, a cleaning lady who was sweeping the floor passed by and said, Him? He is the real boss of our Yixian group. The Yixian group was established by him. Hiss. Their faces were filled with shock. That's not right. I heard that Yixian group was established by President Lin in the past. He is Boss Lin's younger brother. I see. Lin Xian Morongqing and Luo Chenxi arrived at an office. That person is from the Yang group. Luo Chenxi poured a cup of tea for Lin Xian and said, Oh. What are you here for? He said that he is here to talk about cooperation. In fact, he has other ideas. Oh yes, he is also one of President Qing's suitors. Lin Xian looked at Morongqing. Come on. Morongqing laughed and said, Only his face is better than Lin Xian's. As for the rest, it's really not good. Especially that kind of confidence that seems like the whole world can't compare to him. I can't stand it. Hey. Lin Xian glared at her. Are you kidding? But he does have the capital. The Yang family is a top existence among the reclusive families, and he is the eldest son of the Yang family. Today, he came here mainly to say that he wants to develop the Yang group's industry in Lin City, and Lin City is now the territory of our Yixian group. Lin Xian said, Lin City is almost under our Yixian group now, isn't it? What are you thinking? Do you think that we can easily take over a city with only one company? But that's basically what I mean. Morongqing said. However, it's quite troublesome now. Previously, there was no industry that could shake our Yixian group. Therefore, we invested almost all of our investments in the acquisition of Lin City. This caused the Yang group to have quite a big impact on us now. If they forcibly compete with us for Lin City, we are likely to be in big trouble. Luo Chenxi said at this time. Are you serious? Lin Xian opened his mouth. However, they will also have to pay a huge price, but we will have to see if they are willing to pay this price. Looking at them, Lin City seems to be of great significance to their Yang family, but I can't guess what it is. If they insist on doing this, then it must be of great significance, such as strategic significance. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. Then how are we going to get through this crisis? Lin Xian asked. Morongqing looked at Lin Xian and said, It's simple. It's nothing more than money. It's useless even with the Holy Temple supporting us? Big brother, the Holy Temple values you more than the Yixian group. You and the Yixian group are more important. Even if we borrow money from the Holy Temple, it's such a large sum of money. This is not something that your dear Uncle Morong can make the decision. Do you understand? Lin Xian shrugged. I'll think of another way. How much do we need? Hundreds of thousands or billions. Only then can we completely guarantee that there won't be any problems in the short term. Or we can give up monopolizing Lin City and shrink this circle. Lin Xian said. How can we give up when things have already come to this? I'll think of a way. By the way, about the evil fiend temple's controlling stake, has anything happened in the past 3 months? It's fine if you don't talk about this. Now that you mention it, I get angry. Morongqing took a sip of tea. In the past 3 months, the evil fiend temple has taken a lot of money from the Yixian group. Although they don't have many shares, they are shares of the Yixian group after all. This money is not a small amount. They don't care about the crisis of the Yixian group. They only care about using the money to develop themselves. This is a small matter. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. But the Yang group's teleportation pearl is indeed an invincible project. What other project can guarantee an absolute profit like the teleportation pearl? It's a consumable and a necessity, and there will always be people buying it? Lin Xian thought. Many things in the Yixian group were very exaggerated, but compared to the teleportation pearl's usage rate and consumption rate, it was much worse. What? Genius, Lin. Are you planning to have a good fight with the Yang family? It's simple. If you can sell the attribute increasing potion on a large scale, the funds will be in place in a short time. But this is not realistic. No. I want to do something new. It's time to let some people who overestimate themselves understand where the gap is. Chapter 1684. Lin Xian had never been afraid of anyone in this aspect. Damn. With the system, how could he be surpassed by others in terms of business? There were still several missions in the system that Lin Xian had not completed. At most, he could ask the system lady to change the mission rewards. What do you have in mind? To be honest, the Yang group was indeed powerful. The teleportation bead was really profitable. Although the Yixian group was not afraid, after all, they each earned their own profits. However, as the Yixian group had invested almost all of its profits into the acquisition of Lin City, the Yixian group did not have that much capital now. If the Yang group really had any designs on the Yixian group would be greatly affected. There were two ways. They could either earn more money or sell off the properties in Lin City. However, they had just bought so much. If they sold and bought, they would suffer a huge loss. Moreover, they would really be treated as a joke. Instead, the Yang group would succeed. Obviously, they could not leave. Lin Xian shook his head. No. Tisk. Murongqing rolled her eyes. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we are already big enough. We have enough capital. As long as the Yang group doesn't use force, there will be no problem. Even if they do, we are not to be trifled with. Luo Chenxi said. In fact, they still had a lot of confidence in the Yixian group's capital. This was not something that others could easily compare to. However, this capital had basically become an inherent asset. This was quite awkward. What inherent asset? It was the entire Lin City. Most of the residential areas, shopping malls, schools, shops, and so on in Lin City had been acquired by them. Therefore, in simple terms, Lin City had almost become an inherent asset of the Yixian group. If the house you bought was another developer's, then sorry, it was equivalent to buying the Yixian group. The entire land also belonged to the Yixian group. This was the reason why the Yixian group was still afraid of the Yang group, even though they had earned so much money these days. Another sad thing was that the Evil Fiend Temple had lost a lot of their money. Let's have a meal together later. Lin Xian said. Didn't we just eat last night? That's different. That was a gathering for everyone. Today it's us. Murongqing stared at Lin Xian. Are you up to something again? Hey, I'm very sincere. Let's talk about work. On the other side, young Master Yang, can we take down the Art Xian group? They followed Yang Tian and asked respectfully. Yang Tian revealed a confident smile, as though he had everything under control. This Yixian group is indeed not simple. Before the Yang family was born, this young master had already paid attention to this Yixian group, but they lost because they were too arrogant. They completely believe that no capital can shake them. They even didn't hesitate to spend almost all of their capital to acquire the entire Lin City. What a pity. Yang Tian lit a cigarette and took a puff. It's a pity that they don't think there's any capital that can shake them, especially with the Divine Temple standing behind them. They are even less afraid, so they don't even wait for a period of time to buy when they have more capital. Instead, they buy while making money. They simply don't put capital in their eyes. But now the Yang family can do it. Yang Tian rubbed his chin. But with the Yang family's capital, wouldn't it be difficult? Yang Tian sneered. Call headquarters and tell them to hold a press conference tomorrow. It's time for those 2 items to be sold. Yes. Yang Tian cracked his neck and sneered. So what if this Yixian group has the Divine Temple's support? It's not the Divine Temple's support, it's just Murongfeng standing behind them. My Yang family also has a place in the 12 Elders Association of the Divine Temple. Murongfeng is the master of the Divine Temple, but don't think that just because he's the master of the Divine Temple, the entire Divine Temple belongs to him and the Murong family. Perhaps it was like this a long time ago, but after so many years of development, there are no longer any forces. He only belongs to one person, one family. Of course, this refers to the major forces. The Divine Temple has the 12 Elders Association. What does the 12 Elders Association mean? Simply put, the Divine Temple is divided into 12 parts, led by 12 families or forces. The Murong family is one of the 12 Elders Association, and so is the Yang family. Therefore, there are some things that cannot be decided by the Murong family alone. Therefore, he is not afraid of the Divine Temple's possible support for the Yixian group. Now, the Yang family's capital is not enough to shake the Yixian group. But what if a product like the teleportation pearl appears in the market? Then in a short time, their capital will be enough to shake the Yixian group. Kaizi, let's go. Follow me around Lin City. Yes, young master. Then, Yang Tian led his loyal follower around Lin City. Young master, I have a question. Yang Tian looked at Lin City and said calmly, What is it? Ask away. That is, why must we take over Lin City? Yang Tian took a puff of his cigarette and said calmly, This matter involves a lot of things, but the reason is very simple. Lin City is a treasure trove. Treasure trove? Kaizi asked doubtfully. Yes, over the years the family has researched something. Lin City is located in a dragon vein in the entire sky blue planet. A dragon vein in the entire continent? But I don't feel that there is anything special about Lin City. That's because you can't feel it now. After a while, maybe a year, maybe 3 years, Lin City will become a very exaggerated place. Lin City will become a place that the entire human race will protect with their lives, and the Yang family must take over this place. That's right, the first thing the Yang family did when they came out was to attack the Yixian group in Lin City. Others did not understand, but only a few people in the Yang family knew about this matter. So powerful? Yang Tian nodded. Yes, very powerful indeed. The Yixian group has already set their sights on Lin City a long time ago, even going so far as to buy over Lin City and make it their territory. In the eyes of others, they do not understand, because this is a city that borders the territory of the demon race. Other companies are running away, but they are holding on. From this, it can be seen that the people behind them know the reason, and they must take over Lin City. Lin Xian did not know at all, he just randomly chose it. Chapter 1685. To Lin Xian it was all a coincidence. He really did not know of such a saying. If he knew, then others would know as well. How could Lin Xian's art pavilion group get Lin City so easily? Yang Tian continued. If Lin City falls into the Yang family's hands, do you know what the benefits are? Kaizi shook his head. The benefits are that the Yang family will become the strongest family in the entire continent. The Yang family will control the entire dragon vein in Lin City. Moreover, even if the shifters target us, the entire human race, the 3 major forces, and all the other forces will have to protect Lin City. They might even risk their lives to protect Lin City because the human race will never give up the dragon vein to the shifters. Yang Tian said excitedly. What did the dragon vein mean? Simply put, it was the lifeline of a place. For example, if a force's family had a lot of resources, it could even be the lifeline of their family. If you cut off their lifeline, it could be an underground mine. Their family's fortune would be cut off. This was definitely not a joke. The dragon vein was the lifeline of the entire continent, not the entire human race, including the shifters. It was the lifeline of the entire sky blue planet. What benefits would such a place bring? No one knew, but it was unimaginable. But if that's the case, even if Lin City falls into our hands, it's normal for others to take it away by force. After all, the Yang family can't stop the entire continent from fighting for it, right? Yang Tian smiled and said, Fighting for it? After Lin City is legally our territory, who do you think would dare to fight for it? Unless the entire human race is in chaos, so much so that no one cares about the internal strife. Only then would it be taken away. But do you think the human race will be so chaotic now? It's impossible. No matter what, it's impossible. As long as the 3 major forces are still around, the human race will not be in chaos. And it's impossible for the 3 major forces to be gone. So there's no need to worry. I see. Yang Tian rubbed his chin and said, The rest will depend on when we take down Lin City and force them to withdraw their control. The Yang family will have this capital very soon. Who told them to change their capital into inherent assets? The Yang family never wanted to bankrupt the Yixian group. No matter what they did, it was impossible. However, the The Yixian group had exchanged their money for their inherent assets. This led to an economic war. The Yixian group was no match for the Yang group unless they sold off their inherent assets. Therefore, Yang group's idea was to let them sell it off and then take over it themselves. From there, they would slowly take control of Lin and city. That was their goal. At the very least, they could split Lin and city with Yixian group. Let's go and have a drink. After that, Yang Tian brought Kai Zi to a famous bar in Linen City. Although it was daytime, there were still many people in the bar, and there were also many beautiful women. On the contrary, there were more rich and elegant ladies who were willing to stay in this kind of high-end bar. Of course, they also liked to stay in noisy bars. What was the purpose of going to a bar? Picking up girls. Yang Tian had heard that Lin and city had a lot of beautiful women. It was very exaggerated. Many famous beauties were in Lin and city. At first he did not believe it, which city did not have beautiful women. But later on he took a look on the internet. Oh my God! A group of beautiful women shopping. Each of them was so beautiful that it was suffocating. Each of them had their own merits. It was too shocking. He liked Morongqing. To be precise, he liked any beautiful woman, be it Morongqing or Luochensi. He liked them all. However, he could only express his love to one woman on the surface. He liked Morongqing because he knew that Morongqing was the biological sister of Master Morong of the Divine Temple. That was extraordinary. They came to the bar and found a place to sit down. The entire bar had a good atmosphere and was not too noisy. Although it was daytime, there were still many people. Basically, everyone was sitting there, drinking wine, eating snacks, and listening to the beautiful women singing on the stage. Young master, beautiful women, beautiful women. Although there were many beautiful women here, there were a few that caught their attention at a glance. Most importantly, there were many people surrounding that area. Yang Tian looked over. Hiss! Occasionally, the bright lights would shine on their faces, highlighting their beautiful features. They were really beautiful. They seemed to be very famous? Yang Tian looked over in confusion. It was normal for beautiful women to have people hitting on them. However, there were many people hitting on them. They were asking for autographs. I think so. They seemed to be famous celebrities. That's right. They were Miao Xiaomiao, an ex-Xian Zi Qiue, Lu Yufan, Zhao Yunqi and Yi Yi. They had nothing to do today, so they came over to drink and chat. They originally wanted to invite that shameless Lin Xian over, but this guy said that he had a beautiful woman to accompany him. They were helpless. Heavenly consort, can you give me an autograph? Zi Qiue smiled. I'm no longer a celebrity. In my eyes, heavenly consort will always be my idol and an ex-Xian. Oh my God. I didn't expect to see you here. They gave these people autographs helplessly. After the song ended, the beauty smiled and said into the microphone, "Today, I'm very honored to meet two idols that I respect and admire very much. They like to sing, and to me, they really have a great effect. I think everyone must want to hear the two of you sing. I wonder if Heavenly Concubine and Princess and Ex-Xian can satisfy us?" Then there was a burst of cheers. Under such circumstances, an Ex-Xian and Zi Qiue were really embarrassed to refuse. Then let's play. Zi Qiue walked up with a smile. It's Heavenly Consort Zi Qiue. Kai Zi said excitedly. She's so beautiful. Yang Tian liked this kind of mature and elegant woman. He took a sip of wine and watched Zi Qiue walk up. An Ex-Xian also walked up. Although she was very beautiful, he naturally preferred Zi Qiue to this kind of mature and noble woman. I haven't sung for a long time. Zi Qiue smiled and said into the microphone. Then today, I'll sing with an Ex-Xian a song that made her famous. One of the songs, Coral Sea, written and composed by Lin Xian. I'll give it to everyone. Then there was a burst of cheers and screams. A beautiful voice slowly sounded. After the song ended, amidst the thunderous applause, Yang Tian took a flower and walked over with a smile. He handed it to Zi Qiue and an Ex-Xian. Thank you. The two women nodded politely. You're welcome. Today is really a good day. I'm lucky to hear such a beautiful voice. Of course, the most important thing is to see such a beautiful woman. Yang Tian looked at Zichiyue with a smile and said. Chapter 1686. Yang Tian really felt that Lin and City was very strange. The beauties in Lin and City were really more beautiful than in other places. In fact, he could not be sure about this, but it was obvious that he had prey in Lin and City. He had seen too many beauties, but this level was really rare. Zichiyue still smiled and nodded politely. Thank you. Then she said to everyone. Everyone have fun. Thank you. Then the two women walked down amidst the cheers. Yang Tian also walked over with a smile. Hiss. At first he could not see them clearly from afar, but when he got closer, oh my god. Each and every one of them was unbelievably beautiful. Beauties, may I sit here? Yang Tian asked with a smile. Sorry, no. Hey, of course no problem. Lu Yufan said with a smile. They glanced at Lu Yufan. Thank you. Kaizi, go and get a few bottles of good wine. Yes, young master. Yang Tian then smiled and said to them. This is my first time in Lin and City. I've met so many beauties on my first day in Lin and City. It's simply a blessing of 3 lifetimes. Let me introduce myself. I'm Yang Tian from the reclusive family. He had directly revealed his identity. One had to know that people were all vain. But the degree of vanity varied. Recently, the news of the reclusive family was so popular. Everyone knew that even the weakest of the reclusive family was very strong. If Yang Tian directly revealed his identity, wouldn't these girls have a good impression of him out of vanity? Of course they would. So it's the reclusive family. Is it the reclusive Yang family? Miao Xiaomiao asked. Yes. Wow. Does the Yang group belong to your family? Lu Yufan exclaimed. The corner of Yang Tian's mouth curled up slightly, then he nodded. I'm not talented, but the Yang group was founded by me. Of course, the Yang family's support, including funds and connections. Wow. They cried out in surprise. Of course, it was more of an act. At first, Lu Yufan's idea was very simple. It was so boring. Since someone came to strike up a conversation, he might as well chat with them. Who knows, they might even pay for him. Although they were not short of money, they were all at the age where they liked to play, except for Zichiyue. However, ever since Zichiyue became famous, she hadn't had a chance to play properly. Instead, she wanted to play with everyone even more. She was their big sister, but she liked to play with them. There was no barrier between them, and they had a lot of topics to talk about. Other than playing, they also made music together, shot music videos together, and went to the demonic beast domain together to improve their cultivation. They were very happy. Although they had all retired from the entertainment industry, music was still their hobby, and they would occasionally release music. But now it was different. At first, they only wanted to play, but now that they knew that Yang Tian was from the Yang group, they had other thoughts. Although they all used the Yang group's teleportation pearl, they also knew that the Yang group was a big opponent for the Yixian group. Moreover, the Yang group seemed to be targeting the Yixian group. This was what Lin Xian heard when he was chatting with Luo Chenxi and Murong Qing during dinner last night. And this person also said that he was the one who founded the Yang group. That was amazing. They might be able to get some information. Yang Tian laughed in his heart when he heard the exclamation. He, it's a small matter, a small matter. You look so young. Did you really establish the Yang group? You're so amazing. Lu Yufan's little mouth opened slightly, looking as if she was admiring him. Yes, everything was done by this young master personally, including the teleportation bead. Hearing this news, their eyes lit up. This news was very important. Lin Xian and the others meant that the teleportation pearl gave them a lot of pressure. What if they could get something out of it? Wow, all of us are using the teleportation pearl. Lu Yufan then took out a few pearls. Yes. Yang Tian smiled and nodded. Then you have to use it more. This thing is equivalent to having an additional teleportation ability. It's very important. I'll give you a few teleportation pearls that can teleport you hundreds or thousands of meters away. Really? Yang Tian smiled and nodded. Of course. It's my duty to give something to a beauty. Thank you. This teleportation pearl can teleport you more than 10 meters away. Zhao Yunqi was also a smart girl. Since everyone was trying to get information out of them, she naturally started as well. Of course. It's just that we don't sell them. For example, an ordinary teleportation pearl consumes 1 spatial energy. However, teleportation of 1,000 meters consumes hundreds of spatial energy instead of 100. It's completely unnecessary to use it to make money. It's better to make all of them into teleportation pearls that can teleport you 10 meters away and win with quantity. The rest is more for personal use and important transactions with others. Yang Tian smiled and said. So that's how it is. Miao Xiaomiao blinked and asked, Brother Yang, what are you doing in Linen City? Isn't the Yang group located far, far away? Yang Tian smiled and said, I'm actually here to talk about business. I didn't expect to meet such beautiful girls here. It's really a blessing of 3 lifetimes. He didn't realize that they were trying to get information out of him. It was mainly because he didn't expect that they were Lin Xian's people. He didn't even know who Lin Xian was. He only knew that there was such a person. He really didn't know what he looked like. Maybe it was because he was too conceited. Young Master Yang is going to give us such precious teleportation pearls. Shouldn't we toast him? Zichiyue said with a smile. Drink mine, Kaizi. Young Master, I'm coming. Kaizi ran over with good wine. I should be the one toasting you. Yang Tian said with a smile. He thought that these girls had a good impression of him after hearing his identity. They even began to take the initiative to court him. After 3 rounds of drinking. When drinking, especially in a crowded place like a bar, do you think Yang Tian would deliberately use his spirit power to dissolve the alcohol? No, Miao Xiaomiao secretly put some drugs in the wine. The effect was not obvious. It was just that he didn't even realize that he was drunk. In addition, the girls were having a lot of fun playing rock, paper, scissors, drinking and so on, causing Yang Tian to forget about everything else as well. Young Master, it's getting late. We still have things to do. Kaizi reminded him. Get lost. Can't you see? I'm busy. Chapter 1687. Yang Tian was obviously the kind of person who lived in seclusion. He might know a lot about conspiracies, but he wasn't so vigilant about these small things. Coupled with the fact that he had just been born, the media's comments about the Yang family made him feel smug. There was also his extremely high realm, and this very safe place. Even though it seemed like there was only one rich guy by his side, in fact, there were several experts of the Yang family secretly protecting him and watching him. It was just that he couldn't hear what they were saying. However, once he was in danger, those people would definitely make a move. So under such circumstances, what was Yang Tian worried about? Yang Tian then said to Kaizi, Go where you should go. Don't bother me. Kaizi hesitated for a moment. Thinking that his young master had top experts protecting him, and that he didn't want him to follow him, he walked away. Come. Let's continue drinking. Yang Tian smiled and greeted them. Miao Xiaomiao saw that it was about time. She poured wine for Yang Tian and asked with a smile, Big brother Yang, how are you so powerful? You can create a teleportation pearl that even changed the face of the continent at such a young age. You're really strong. Yang Tian smiled and said, It's nothing. Let me tell you, the Yang group will release another shocking product in 2 days. What is it? Yang Tian smiled and said, Then I'll tell you. Anyway, the press conference will be held soon. It's a product I call the Divine Power Pill. Yang Tian nodded. That's right. The Divine Power Pill. After taking it, one's strength will increase by 1/3 in 1 to 3 minutes. There's also the Divine Speed Pill. After taking it, one's speed will increase by 1/3 in 1 to 3 minutes. This effect can even increase the speed of a heavenly venerable by 1/5. They looked at each other. Obviously, once this was released, it would definitely be a hit. And the key was that it was a one-time consumable. In terms of shock, it was definitely not as shocking as the Yixian Group's products. However, their advantage was that it was a one-time consumable. After using it, they still had to buy it and use it again. This allowed them to continuously make money. This was the advantage of the Yang group. This increase was huge. Think about it. Eating something that could increase one's speed and strength by 1/3. Who wouldn't want this free increase? It was really a huge increase in combat power. Even a heavenly venerable could increase by 1/5. Once this thing was released, it would be a situation of people fighting for it. However, these were obviously not as powerful as the teleportation pearl. Of course, they were definitely very strong. Then Big Brother Yang, I really don't understand. How can you make things like the teleportation bead? According to my understanding, teleportation is achieved by spirit tools or attributes. However, this teleportation pearl is not a spirit tool. It can only be considered a consumable item. Why can it achieve teleportation? It's really amazing, and it can even produce such a large amount. Then he drank a mouthful of wine and said, about this, there's no harm in telling you guys. In our Yang family, we have a very top-notch space crystal. It's very big. This space crystal is the size of a fist, and the space energy inside is enough to create millions of teleportation beads. Hearing this, they looked at each other. Then, what about the divine power pill and the divine speed pill? About this, it's actually nothing. These things are just refined from some formulas. It's a bit similar to pills, but the cost is very, very low. Moreover, they are all diluted. They can even double one's strength and speed. Only our Yang family has this formula. If you want, burp, when the time comes, this young master will give you some divine power pills and divine speed pills that can double one's speed and strength. Young Tian said. Thank you, Big Brother Yang. They probably already knew. This was definitely very important news. Time slowly passed, and they probably already knew what they wanted to know. This young master is telling you. In the future, Lin and City will fall into my hands. You can go wherever you want. Be my women, you will definitely be the happiest people in the world. Yang Tian was really drunk and was floating in the sky. Ah, Big Brother Yang wants Lin and City? Why is that? Miao Xiaomiao asked. Because Yang Tian suddenly became a little sober. Or rather, he subconsciously kept telling himself that this was definitely a secret that could not be said. I'll tell you later, burp. Alright, but Lin and City has the Yixian group. Che Yixian group? When the God Power Pill and God Speed Pill are released, the Yixian group can only obediently admit defeat under the attack of my Yang group. They looked at each other again. Big Brother Yang, you drank too much. It's getting late, you should go back and rest early. The people protecting Yang Tian were all paying attention to Yang Tian. However, they were very secretive and would not come out easily. They also could not hear Yang Tian's words, so they did not know what Yang Tian had exposed. In fact, the things that Yang Tian exposed were not considered fatal. For example, the space crystal. Would they be afraid that someone would steal it from their Yang family? Who would have the ability and courage to do so? However, they definitely could not let others know about it easily. Of course, Yang Tian wanted to have sex with little Missy, but now that he was drunk and had eaten something similar to a drug that Miao Xiaomiao had secretly put in him, he did not know what he wanted to do now. And then see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Yang Tian wobbled as he walked away. I'll tell Lin Xian first. Miao Xiaomiao then called Lin Xian and told him about the situation. Oh, really? How did you know? Hearing Miao Xiaomiao's words, Lin Xian rubbed his chin. Okay, I got it. By the way, he seems to want to compete with you for control of Lin and City, but we didn't find out why. Lin Xian nodded. Okay, this information is very important. Thank you for your hard work. Not as hard as you. What are you doing? Shopping with a girl. Bastard. Go to hell. Miao Xiaomiao angrily hung up the phone. They invited him over for a drink, but he did not come and went shopping with another girl. How shameless. What's wrong? Mo Rongqing asked. Lin Xian told her what happened. Yang Tian, is it? What a coincidence, Yang Tian actually bumped into them, but could this be intentional? You're saying that Yang Tian deliberately spread the news to me? But what's the reason? Could it be that he was waiting for me to steal the space crystal from the Yang family, and then wait for me? That's not necessary. And what? You want to steal something? Chapter 1688. Murongqing was stunned when she heard Lin Xian's words. Brother, what are you trying to do? Lin Xian nodded. Yes, what else can I do? No. There's no need for that, okay? Murongqing believed that although they were competitors, the Yixian group didn't have to be afraid of them. Even if they were to notify Lin and City on behalf of the Yixian group, they had to have the ability to do so. Even if they sold divine power pills, they wouldn't have the ability to do so in a short period of time. And didn't Lin Xian say that he had a way? Lin Xian said, think about it. Lin and City is our competitor, right? Even if I have other methods, the materials, research and development, and manufacturing are all time-consuming. I might as well be straightforward and steal the crystals in this space that they rely on the most. This way, they won't have the capital to fight against the Yixian group. There was nothing wrong with that. If they wanted to mess with the Yixian group, then Lin Xian would have all kinds of ways to mess with them. Whether it was on the surface or behind the scenes, as long as he got rid of them, it didn't matter what schemes they had. This couldn't be said to be sinister. It was a very normal method. That's the Yang family, Murongqing said. Hey, don't worry. Don't you believe in my strength? I'm now at the 9th level of the Mystic Heaven realm. I don't believe that it's difficult to infiltrate a family. Murongqing shook her head. That's a reclusive family. Do you know what a reclusive family is? Isn't it just hiding from the world? Coming out occasionally? That's not the case. Let's talk about warriors. In fact, many reclusive family clans don't want to live in seclusion. Instead, there is a rule that states that such family clans are not to participate in the struggles between factions. This is because such family clans have heavenly Tao realm existences on the surface. Think about it. If a heavenly Tao realm existence participates in the struggles of some factions to establish their own faction, what would the consequences be? Lin Xian. Because of the pressure from the heavenly Tao, no one dares to resist. They can even effortlessly seize the forces they want and strengthen their own forces. That's right. Humans' ambition is endless, especially for those clans that are qualified to have such ambition. All of these hidden clans have capital. If they all want to develop their own forces, don't you think that the entire human race will be in chaos? There's also the interference of the Fey race. If humans were to have internal strife again, it would be troublesome. Internal strife caused by heavenly Tao realm existences is no trivial matter. Therefore, the top 3 factions have set up this rule. Heavenly Tao realm existences are forbidden from interfering with these factions' interference. So they went into seclusion. More or less. But they can't possibly fight against the human race, right? The so-called seclusion doesn't mean that they are cut off from the world. I understand. Living in seclusion meant being cut off from the rest of the world. Where would he farm and raise himself? How was that possible? The so-called seclusion meant not interfering in certain matters. They could develop their own companies if they wanted to. They could go out to dance or eat. They could go to the Fey Beast domain if they wanted to. There was nothing different about it. It just meant that they couldn't do much when it came to the factions of warriors. That's why the Yang family has a heavenly Tao realm existence. Even if your realm isn't low, being at the 9th stage of the Great Void realm, and having spatial attributes, wouldn't you be courting death if you went to someone else's territory? Especially one with a heavenly Tao realm existence? Even if nothing happened, it would be difficult for you to steal their spatial crystals under such circumstances. She shook her head helplessly. Why not? Lass, don't underestimate me. All right. Up to you. Just make sure nothing happens to you. But, why are they appearing now? Lin Xian stroked his chin and asked. There's nothing we can do about it. The human race is in dire straits. Not only is there internal strife in the Evil Fiend Hall, there are other problems. Then the Fey race's Fey God Hall and Myriad Fey Alliance are reorganizing. Now there are 15 Fey God Halls with top Fey Gods appearing. The human race urgently needs to improve. Otherwise, when the Fey race rushes over, something bad will happen. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Indeed. The heavenly blue planet was indeed restless. Furthermore, Don't think that everyone's lives are any different from before. Perhaps one day, the entire continent would be engulfed in the flames of war. This was definitely not a groundless fear. Alright, then I'll go now. Hey, so fast. Since I have nothing to do, I'll come back and have sex with you after I'm done. Fuck your mother. On the other side, Lin Xian quickly took a plane to the city where the Yang family was. It wasn't too far. This crystal must be well protected in the Yang family. According to Lin Xian's information, this thing was very big. Lin Xian was quite surprised. A huge space crystal could support the Yang family's sails to the entire continent. How big was it? Of course, Lin Xian knew that the space crystal would be used up sooner or later. However, from the looks of it, it wouldn't be used up in a short period of time. This short period of time was also the most difficult period for the Yixian group. Could it be that they really wanted to sell some of the businesses and land that they had taken over in Linen City? Lin Xian couldn't accept that. After the afternoon passed, Lin Xian arrived late at night. The timing was just right. If he wanted to know where the Yang family was, it was a simple matter. The recent news was all about the various hidden families, and these hidden families were all very high profile. However, the Yang family on the surface might not be the true face. This was something that Lin Xian only knew when he went over. Furthermore, the Yang family wasn't the strongest among the reclusive family clans. It could only be considered a mid-tier reclusive family clan. Lin Xian was rather astonished that a mid-tier reclusive family clan had a heavenly Dao realm expert. It was rather powerful. In fact, this wasn't much. Even a low-level hidden family had a heavenly Dao realm. This was because the condition for their hidden family was to have a heavenly Dao realm. This Yang family is in 9 Phantom Mountain. 9 Phantom Mountain is a place with few people. For such a large family, it's indeed suitable to be their base of operations. Lin Xian pondered slightly. 9 Phantom Mountain wasn't even in the city. Of course, there was definitely a Yang family in the city. However, the family that wasn't in the city was the true Yang family. It was the same for the other families. Take Morong Yu's Morong family for example. The real Morong family was made up entirely of cultivators and experts, so it was impossible for them to live in a house in the city. Normally, they would live in a very secluded and quiet place. Then Lin Xian released his spatial energy and arrived near 9 Phantom Mountain. After arriving there, Lin Xian immediately activated his darkness attribute. Chapter 1689. The concealment of the dark attribute, coupled with the fact that this was Lin Xian's dark attribute, was very powerful and very secretive. Moreover, Lin Xian's cultivation level was at the 9 stars of the Great Void Realm. In fact, it wasn't just the 9 stars of the Great Void Realm. Lin Xian's original strength was coupled with the effect of doubling all his attributes from the God's Awakening Door. Lin Xian even wondered if he could fight a heavenly Dao Realm 1 star. However, it was unlikely. Lin Xian could even fight a Great Void Realm's 9 stars at the Empyrean Realm, but he could not fight a heavenly Dao Realm's 1 star at the Great Void Realm. This was because the gap between the Great Void Realm and the heavenly Dao Realm was just too great. This large realm could not be measured at all. The heavenly Dao Realm was a realm that completely exceeded the so-called warriors beneath the heavenly Dao Realm. Lin Xian had experienced the might of the heavenly Dao before. How should he put it? Even if he used all his strength and went all out, he felt that it was not even a tenth of the heavenly Dao Realm's strength. The gap between the heavenly Dao Realm was just too great. Lin Xian even felt that his domain was ineffective against those at the heavenly Dao Realm. His realm reduction domain could now forcefully reduce the other party's cultivation level. Furthermore, it ignored one's realm. But could it really ignore the heavenly Dao Realm's realm? Lin Xian felt that it was not certain. If a heavenly Dao Realm 1 star was released, wouldn't it be too exaggerated if it directly became the Great Void Realm's 9 stars when he released his domain? Lin Xian did not believe that his domain was that exaggerated. Of course, it was not certain. Why? This was because the reduction meant that Lin Xian's spiritual energies would be constantly expended. The harder it was to reduce his realm, the greater the expenditure on Lin Xian. Perhaps it could be done. but Lin Xian's expenditure might reach an unimaginable level. Therefore, the reduction of his realm might not last long. This included the new domain that Lin Xian had recently obtained, the Realm Enhancement Domain. It could raise Lin Xian's realm by 1 star. This was the same. Lin Xian's Great Void Realm's 9-star release was raised to 10-star, but he could raise it from the Great Void Realm's 10-star release to the Heavenly Dao Realm's 1-star release. However, it was possible for him to raise it from the Great Void Realm's 10-star release to the Heavenly Dao Realm's 1-star release. That would consume 100 spiritual energy per second. After all, one had to have sufficient spiritual energy to support the expenditure at one's realm. Lin Xian unleashed his dark attribute, making him absolutely invisible, especially in the middle of the night. Naturally, he wouldn't be easily discovered. Moreover, the Yang clan probably wouldn't have thought that someone would dare to barge into their clan, right? Moreover, there was one thing that Lin Xian could absolutely guarantee, and that was the Eye of Cave Spirit. With his Cave Spirit Eye, Lin Xian could even see the power that could threaten him while he was in hiding. Just like now, Lin Xian stopped in his tracks. This was a small forest that led up the mountain. What did Lin Xian see with his Cave Spirit Eye? An energy that resembled infrared rays filled the area, but it wasn't infrared rays. It was likely some sort of hidden probing spiritual energy. Simply put, one couldn't see it or sense it. However, the moment one touched it, the Yang family would know that someone was coming. The Eye of Cave Spirit was truly an extremely useful ability. Lin Xian avoided the hidden object and continued walking forward. Soon a few houses came into view. However, Lin Xian knew that this wasn't the real Yang family. Although this was the Yang family, it wasn't the real one. The real one was behind these houses. This was because with his Cave Spirit Eye, Lin Xian could see an illusion of this place. Simply put, if one couldn't see through the illusion, one would only see these few houses with their backs facing the mountain. However, if one could see through the illusion, one would realize that behind these houses was a very, very large family clan. Manor? No, manor could no longer be used to describe this place. This place was much, much, much bigger than a manor. Moreover, there were many empty spaces in the manor. However, from what Lin Xian could see, there were many houses here. But how do I enter? Obviously, Lin Xian couldn't release the power of space to directly enter. One had to know that there was a heavenly Dao here. Ignoring the heavenly Dao, even Great Void and Heavenly Venerables could sense the release of the power of space. Wouldn't Lin Xian be exposed? Disguise. This was the simplest method. However, Lin Xian might be able to disguise himself as the people in front of these houses. However, these people were more likely to be the Yang family's gatekeepers. It wouldn't work. Wait. Yang Tian. Lin Xian suddenly thought of the young master of the Yang family, Yang Tian. He had seen what Yang Tian looked like before. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. This would be easy. Then Lin Xian released the law of creation and changed himself into Yang Tian's appearance. Then he swaggered over. Young master. Seeing Lin Xian, those people hurriedly bowed. They definitely wouldn't think that this wasn't Yang Tian when they saw Yang Tian. How was that possible? Lin Xian nodded. Yes. Young master, didn't you say that you wouldn't be attending the press conference during the day? Why did you come back? He asked. Do I need to tell you whether I'm coming back or not? That person hurriedly bowed. Sorry. Lin Xian directly walked over. Open the door and welcome the young master. The Yang family's door opened. Young master. About a dozen people bowed to Lin Xian. Lin Xian. Damn. Was this a hidden family? In the middle of the night, there were actually dozens of people guarding the door. Although they were basically in the domain law realm, there were 2 heavenly venerables and Great Void realm. How rich. You guys go ahead. Lin Xian then walked in alone. Those people didn't suspect anything, and no one followed Lin Xian. After all, this was the Yang family, and he was the Yang family's young master. When the young master returned home, who would need to keep an eye on him? Lin Xian walked in this huge Yang family, and was secretly shocked. It was really huge. Moreover, the entire Yang family's heaven and earth spiritual energy was very dense. This also meant that there were a large number of very strong heaven and earth spiritual energy here. Also, there were powerful illusions and barriers protecting the Yang family. In other words, outside the Yang family, one wouldn't be able to feel the strong heaven and earth spiritual energy. There were many houses, and there were probably a few hundred people in the Yang family. Adding the Yang family's martial artists, there might be even more. It should be at least 1,000-year-old family. However, it was already late at night, so the entire Yang family was still very quiet. Lin Xian opened his Eye of Cave Spirit and searched for his target. There were many directions for heaven and earth spiritual energy, and Lin Xian didn't know which direction to go. Lin Xian saw a man passing by the roadside. "Young master, what orders do you have?" He bowed to Lin Xian. "Bring this young master to see how the crystal is," Lin Xian said. Yes. However, that person was quite strange. If he wanted to see the crystal, he could go see it himself. Why did he need him to bring him? It was really strange. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.